Hey folks, it's Reno News Now, also known as the ADHD Auditor, here with our good buddy Sacramento Community Watch.
Hello everybody, how's it going?
Want to thank you all for joining us, and our neurodivergent, neurotypical followers, thank you for subscribing. If you guys don't mind, take a moment to please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Today we're going to be bringing you a lot of good things here. We finally got the court audio from the court. From Sacramento Community Watch's trial from April 1st. So when we got it, originally it was like about 3 hours long. They gave us the full day on April 1st. Everything that happened in that courtroom, we got the audio on. Didn't want the whole thing, but we got it. So I haven't listened to any of it yet myself. I know Sacramento hasn't yet re-listened to this, but he was right front and center of the whole thing, as you all are aware of. If you haven't taken the time yet and don't know what's going on or what we're talking about, please go back and take a look at our live streams, folks. Take a look at the videos. We're basically covering Sacramento's would-be second arrest and first conviction in municipal court of him interfering, or I'm sorry, resisting a public officer. And those who don't know, in Nevada, basically it is should be changed to contempt of cop. Basically, in any person or case under any circumstances not specifically provided for, willfully resists, delays, or obstructs a public official in discharging or attempting to discharge any legal duty of his or her office shall be punished. And then it's been amended to a few times where, you know, if there's a firearm or a dangerous weapon used, but Sacramento does not carry a weapon with him when he audits. So therefore, they basically got him on a misdemeanor at this point. We do have this within the next court up, the Washoe County Court. We have filed Sacramento has filed an appeal with the higher courts. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Anthony Sotelo real quick here, or Tyrant Tony, as we're known here at the Sacramento Community Watch News Network. And we just got a little stinger. It's about 30 seconds here, basically, of his interactions with the Sacramento Community Watch Network. So I'd like to show that to you.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm not going to be detained, okay?
Why would I be detained?
Because you're being detained. Am I going to be famous too? You're going to put me on your YouTube video?
Of course you will
Awesome.
be. Of course. Deprivation of rights under the color of law.
Do you see the color that I am?
Oh, you know that? You know what that's called, right? That's called prior restraint. Because I need to see you. Because we don't trust you.
He can record all he wants. He's fine. He's protecting my rights.
You got nosy people that just, you know what I mean?
Nosy people?
Yeah.
So yeah, nosy people, folks. Just, I mean, the behavior of so Sacramento, I want to ask you here, do we want to go over the court documents first? I mean, I want to keep this to about an hour, because after we pared down the video, and it looks like we got about 2 hours worth of video or audio that we're going to be listening to today. And I know we tried to keep these to an hour. Do we want to go over some of the court's documents from the beginning here, or do we just want to jump right into the audio?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into the audio.
Okay, not a problem here, folks. Here, we're going to go ahead and jump into the audio. Now, I just want to point out, I did do a public records request to try to get a better picture. We were kind of going for one of the actual courtrooms, and what they sent me when I did a public records request of a picture of the courtroom, you know, something for the media, you know, they gave me this little itty bitty square that they used on their website. I can't do nothing with that. So I had to go and get a picture of the front of the courthouse here. So that's what we got here. And Sacramento don't know this. I was able to use CapCut. Thank you, CapCut. To subtitle this automatically. So we're going to, you know, subtitles may not be correct because, again, I haven't listened to this. I've only come in here to basically edit my name out and what I do on a professional level, and to listen to where Tony the Tyrant came in so we can change the screens around a bit. So I'm listening to this for the first time because, as you're going to hear, they kicked me out of the courtroom. So here we go, folks.
Okay, let's, we've got the Walter England trial. Is that done?
Yes, Your Honor. He is present, represented by Mr. Edgerton.
Okay.
Oh,
Shout out to
about
Mr.
this.
Edgerton.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Edgerton. Oh, by the way, folks, bit of housekeeping. Forgot about this totally when we got into this. Sacramento Community Watch's page has been monetized now.
Yeah.
So, folks, yeah, we're really proud here. So I
Yeah,
do
hell yeah.
believe, I'm not sure if we got super stickers set up yet or anything of that nature, but if you guys want to donate to the Sacramento Community Watch Network, the GoFundMe links are in the page for his legal defense fund. CashApp is available. If you guys send us anything through CashApp, we'll go ahead and try to put it on the screen later on if we can. And again, if you do super stickers, we'll put them up on the screen. So, we need help out here, guys. So please, like, share, and subscribe at least, and help get our metrics up in all of our locations here.
Up and up. Let's go.
Okay, a lot of late filed motions, but we'll take a look at those.
Your Honor, there are a couple of preliminary matters I'd like to address. First, I want to confirm that this is being recorded. I just want to confirm this is being recorded.
Is this being recorded?
Yeah, you were being recorded, Schumann.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Number two,
Oh, and Ms. Schumann, this is publicly accessible. $35 is what I had to pay to get it, and I got it.
Damn shame.
Yep, it's mine now. And we're making it public, folks.
I'd like to invoke the rule of exclusion. And then third, I want to make sure there's no unlawful recordings going on in the courtroom today.
Okay. All right.
Of course she didn't want no recordings.
Those who are going to be testifying today on behalf of either the city or for the defense, you need to sit outside and not talk about this case amongst yourselves. I know this case involves filming in court. There will be no filming. There will be no.
Even though Sotelo was out talking with the.
I'm going to get to that here. So he's basically because I put in a motion to be pressed to record lawfully, and they basically turned me down right at the beginning because they did not equate First Amendment auditor to the rules of the NRS. And they said, since we have no more information, we're going to deny your request to record in the courtroom. And then I filed a motion with this judge, because at this point it was assigned to this judge, saying, okay, here's the more information. And according to the rules, I fall under this. Can I please do it? And they said, no, you got to go to a higher court, and we're not going to let you defame the Reno Police Department.
Right.
So what wound up happening was, after that little bit of court, unfortunately, we didn't get that audio. But after that little bit of court, Sacramento and I went back out to the scene, took measurements, and did stuff, and I turned into a witness. So at this point, they're kicking me out, and I had no clue. So at this point, I'm no longer media. I'm a witness. So that's where we're at here.
Nature, okay? Nothing in the coats or in the pockets, anything like that. So whoever's going to be testifying, either for the city or for the defense, need to step out.
And Your Honor, just from the defense side, with regard to the rule of exclusion, there's two witnesses, or at least one witness, who would not be testifying depending on how the court resolves some of our motions. I don't know if the court will, if we want to resolve those now, it would just become audience members.
Okay, so at this point, I was kind of sticking around to see if they were talking about me, but when they said two witnesses, I knew they weren't talking about me, and I got the heck out of there. And as you heard earlier, the judge said you're not supposed to talk about this case. And when I went out of the courtroom, I seen Officer Sotelo talking to the car victim. And as soon as I walked out, their talking stopped. So I'm not saying that they were talking about the case, but it was awfully sus. And I kept my mouth shut, and I was listening the entire time.
And didn't the judge say for everybody to not speak amongst each other? I could have sworn those were his words.
Those were his words. So, I'm not sure how Mr. Edgerton is going to handle that in the future of the case on the appeal. But at this point, you know, it's up to him. But we're going to continue. And, you know, I don't want to be a witness again, but, you know, I have a feeling I may be.
Talk about the motion.
Mm-hmm. That sounds
All
good.
right, let's talk about the,
Did I change something?
Yeah, you did. I'm going to put it back.
My screen isn't going full size, so I don't know what's wrong with it.
issue regarding hiring an expert still on board.
Your Honor, Judge Hazel Stevens resolved our renewed motion and denied that on different grounds, and so that issue has been resolved.
Okay. You know,
Okay, so what he's talking about here, folks, is that they were trying to hire a PI to actually go out there and measure out and get accurate results. And that's why I had to turn witness, is because they decided to deny his request, even though Mr. Edgerton said that it's in his contract. They're supposed to provide him these things, and they just decided up and not to do it. Now, keep in mind, Reno PD didn't send anybody out there like a detective or that either to go out there and measure it. So, you know, keep listening.
I did spend some time researching Wiss, and I knew Wiss. He's a good guy. He's since passed away. Anyways, okay, so that's so I won't waste any time. Okay, the prior bad acts. Let me kind of give you my, that I've known prior bad acts a long time. And I'm not quite sure what is included within the prior bad acts, within the recordings, whatever those people have to say. But you really want those prior bad acts introduced? Because I'm going to tell you one thing right now. I've got, this kind of goes hand in hand whether or not we're a certified journalist, what have you. In the city's response, I did not know what the communication was between these parties on the incident prior to the case we're here for, the date of the offense and then subsequent. But I do find in one of them that, and I won't hold this against anybody right now, but I found out in one of them, according to the pleadings, that there was some improper language that I don't know if any renowned journalist.
Okay, so what he's talking about here is prior bad acts, is when Xander went up and chewed him out during that little intro video that we showed you earlier. There was some more of that, and they're kind of debating whether or not they want to bring that in as evidence. It sounds like, you know, because of the foul language of Xander using his constitutional rights to express his opinion of Officer Sotelo.
Right. And he was also questioning whether or not that was like professional acts of a journalist or becoming of a journalist to go out and, you know, use verbal, you know, have that verbal confrontation with Officer Sotelo. He was wondering if that was something that journalists do. And absolutely, we have our First Amendment right, you know.
Just because we engage in one of the 5 acts of the First Amendment of the Constitution doesn't mean we can't engage in a second, third, or fourth.
Right. It's funny. Do they know any of the Constitution?
I mean, we have the freedom of speech, so we have the freedom to chew them out. We have the freedom to assemble and gather around and make sure that the police are doing their job. And then we also have the freedom to address our grievances with our government. So, I mean, we're allowed to sit there and record them as a journalist. That's 4 out of the 5 right there. Other than you getting down on your knees and praying to God that they don't arrest you, you know. There's the 5th, you know. Yeah. I mean, you guys were exercising the 4 out of your 5 First Amendments of your Constitution
all the time.
Oh my gosh!
But in one of the incidents, this involving one of the prior acts, defendant companion, I think this is the situation that occurred after, 4 months after this case. Defendant and his companion, I'm just reading out the pleadings, and if it's correct, I don't know if you really want this introduced. If you want the prior bad acts, if you want to consider a post-act, a prior bad act, I guess you can't for certain reasons. The defendant and his companion shined a flashlight in Officer Sotelo's face and told Officer Sotelo to burn and die, called him a bitch, punk, and an asshole, where they were not arrested. Now that's just what I haven't read. We've looked into the prior bad acts themselves. It's not proper for me to do so. But I'm reading the pleadings. Things like that come out. That's not good for you. So I was kind of surprised. I'm thinking, wait, who's that?
So because you're exercising your constitutional right,
It's not good for you.
It's not good for you. Wow.
Asking for what? So what do you want to do? What's your on the prior bad acts? What's your...
See, it sounds like he's already made up his mind.
Exactly.
I
What do
mean-
you want to do, man? Come on, hurry up. What do you want to do?
So you're saying even before you allow this, you're saying that it's going to harm. It may harm you. So you already know about it. So it's already influenced your decision. It sounds like.
Well, Your Honor, the two instances are situated differently. One predating the incident that we're looking at, which is September 2023. I think that the July incident is more relevant, I would concede, than the January incident that the court just referred to, simply because one preceded the other and probably tells us more about mental states of the two parties than the latter incident. The abusive language that the court has actually correctly cited from the pleadings, as the city reflected, they in full candor put that forward, were by another individual. So that was not Mr. England. Those comments were made by his companion. And that does tend to kind of color the whole interaction to some extent, but Mr. England comes off as much more pacific in that interaction. So, I may or may not get into the January 2024 incident. It's less probative. It's the context is maybe more inflammatory. But the July 2023, which precedes the incident by about 2 months, to the extent that there was any exchange of words, which the city did get into a little bit, I believe, that was after the initial incident had. So the comments that are attributed to Mr. England on page 3, lines.
I've heard them already.
Sure.
On July 2023, what was inflammatory? What did he say, if anything?
So after the principal interaction had ended, in terms of the recording, then as Officer Sotelo is leaving the scene, there's some ongoing exchange about the nature of recording and the nature of what Mr. England is up to, and things become somewhat heated, and so at certain points there's exchange of name-calling in both directions.
Give me some specifics.
Sure, so I believe the city has correctly quoted Mr. England at one point as saying something along the lines of, "You're a punk-ass officer, you shouldn't be an officer anymore, get a different job."
And all that is his opinion. First Amendment right to say so.
And that was after he called me nosy, and all these different disrespectful things. That's after, that was after the fact. So, you get what you give, What do you worry about?
Yeah, and again, it just goes in the court of public opinion. It just goes on to prove that he's doing this out of retaliation.
Right.
This is as Officer Sotelo is leaving the scene in a police vehicle, obstructing a sidewalk, and doing something on his phone. So this is long after the principal incident had occurred, and this is after Officer Sotelo had twice referred to Mr. England as, quote, nosy, a nosy person.
I don't remember what the context said, but anyway. Okay.
But he didn't want to. Oh, sorry. He didn't want to go over what. He didn't want to go over the context of what Sotelo said, but he wanted to go over what I said.
Yeah. These municipal judges, in my opinion, and it's not a professional judicial opinion like the bar, but again, I'm not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice in any way, shape, or form what we're doing here today, folks. But he's just showing his bias to the police officers, that he prefers the police officers and will side with the police officer, over anything, at this point.
Doesn't matter what it
As far as
is.
the prior bad acts are concerned, prior to, subsequent to, they can be held in cross-examination rather than, are you okay? I mean, it's open for cross anyhow.
Welcome in, Xander the Educator. Thanks for joining us tonight.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, that time I checked the right email.
Yeah, I just, I mean, and we put in our opposition, it's just really not relevant. This case is completely different from that case. The July 2023, it was 2 months prior to this incident. The defendant was told to stay back. He did. He was not arrested. No obstruction whatsoever in the investigation that was going on then. And so we have concerns. This is an entirely different set of circumstances, different set of facts, and it really has nothing at all to do with this case at all.
What I'll do is I'll entertain it on cross.
Yes, I appreciate that. And the video is not as important as being able to reach the incident. The last comment I was going to add, Your Honor, is that in the officer's report, pages 2 and 3, he actually references the July incident. He also references it in his comments at the time. So again, the July incident is more probative than the January incident.
So prior bad acts should be done on cross. As far as the filming, do you want to talk about that, or we could?
Courtroom filming?
Yeah.
On Mr. England's behalf, obviously this is animated from concerns about the transparency of judicial proceedings and criminal proceedings. I think that both sides have been adequately heard. The court has made its ruling, and I think any appeal from that could follow.
Adam and Justin, you always do a good job. There was a administrative order by Judge Hazel Stevens that talks about the introduction of film recording in the courtroom, basically predicated upon the right of people in court to be able to move around freely without having anything invasive occurring. So anyways, okay, so that's all taken care of. What else do we need as far as the prior bad acts report? So the prior bad acts handled on cross,
I just have to say, guys, their audio is horrible. Oh my God, I can't handle this. And the AI can barely pick up what he's saying. Again, right. Folks, these closed captions were not provided by the court. This is not an official court transcript that's playing up on the screen in text. It's what AI has tried to pick out from this poor audio. And it would be better if they could invest in some better equipment, because even the files that they sent me were in a proprietary format called For the Record. I had to go out to their website just to get this to play and get it to where I can get it into a usable format. It's just downright disrespectful.
Dollar Tree.
And what else are we doing here?
Your Honor, one other question, just to clarify. So prior bad acts, you're saying the July of 2023 incident can come in, but the January of 2024 incident cannot?
What we'll do is, as we go along,
okay.
Relevancy, if you find an objection, just go ahead and check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. What else? What am I missing? The film's taken care of.
So basically what she's trying to do is to prevent us from using that information with Officer Sotelo, so that way it doesn't make him look bad in front of the court.
There were motions that were filed, or I'm sorry, memorandum of law, points and authorities were filed today. Okay. I didn't know if the court wanted to address that.
And what are we doing with that? It's filed today.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that was on me, Your Honor. And so, I apologize to Ms. Schumann and to the court for the timing of it. I'll spare everyone the excuses and the context. Essentially, I wanted to memorialize some thoughts and some research in advance of the hearing. The city's gotten a chance to look at it. The court may have had an opportunity to digest some of it. This is just an alternative to me bringing up all these statutes cold turkey in a closing. We're asking the court to consider them in that way. So essentially, it's just laying the legal framework as we see the case. The city obviously has taken, as opposed or recharacterized some of those issues. I just didn't want to be dropping case names and statutes that wouldn't have come up in evidence as we close. So I just want to lay that legal framework.
And I'm sorry, we already covered the expert?
We have that. That was the witness motion at the top.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you read witness?
Yes. And again,
Witness didn't do you any good.
What's that?
Witness did not do you any good.
No, and I was relying here essentially on two issues. One is that in my contract as a legal defender, basically references that motions for ex parte expenses can be made in this manner. And then the reason that I pivoted from your order, Your Honor, was simply because in my reading of the contract that I had, it was supposed to be adjudicated by the judge who was not hearing the matter.
Yeah.
So that was the reason there. And then again, to the nature, it wasn't so much to offer an expert, it was to, it was before I knew one of the witnesses I'll be calling today, Mr. Peck. I didn't know him quite as well, and I wasn't sure how effectively we could adduce the lay opinion that I'm going to adduce today. Those concerns have been obviated, but I was simply asking for a small amount of funds to be able to have a neutral party come in and describe the scene. But I think we'll tread that ground today.
Okay, all right. Okay, then.
And they denied those funds.
Right, and that's why I had to turn witness.
Can we get rolling?
Yes, Your Honor.
Call your first one.
Your Honor, if we could call Officer Henry Sotelo.
Henry.
Henry Sotelo.
Hi, Henry.
It's Anthony Sotelo. Oh, he's not going to like me. Anthony Sotelo.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to like that at all.
Xander, who's Henry Sotelo?
Tony the Tyrant.
Tony the Tyrant, exactly. And folks, we do have his information up on the screen. Again, you can redress your grievances with your government. If you do so, please do so responsibly. The First Amendment is a double-edged sword.
Wait. I need everybody to pay attention to what this officer says, okay? Pay attention.
Yes. Please pay attention to what he says, because this is going to be... there's a good part in here.
Hey, look at his hand.
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to move about the courtroom freely? Thank you, Your Honor. Hi, officer. Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Anthony Sotelo, ANTHONY, SOTELO.
Not Henry? Anthony?
No.
Okay, just making sure. What do you do for work?
I'm a police officer with the Reno Police Department.
And how long have you worked for the Reno Police Department?
About 7 years now.
And what training did you undergo to become
I can't
a police
tell.
officer?
Post Academy, Nevada Post Academy.
And how long does that last?
It's about a 5-month course.
Okay, so 5-month course. 5-month course to become a police officer. And as you've seen in previous live streams where we pulled it up, he's only really had firearms training. Where's the law enforcement training? Where's the knowledge and understanding of the law and Constitution? It ain't done in 5 months, that's for darn sure.
Okay, what about any specialized training?
Yes, I have multiple trainings, SWAT training. I've done quarterly trainings, shooting, DTs, defensive tactics, sorry.
Guns. This guy's a gun nut. This guy is a gun nut. It's nothing about law enforcement.
Super disappointing.
And I'm also involved in college. I'm a year shy of completing my criminal justice major.
Well, congratulations. Okay, tell me about, were you working for Reno PD on September 18th of last year?
Yes.
What shift?
Swing shift.
And what were you doing at approximately 5:30 p.m.?
I was patrolling the area of 2nd and Sierra Street.
Okay, and what happened?
I was weighed down by a citizen claiming that she had found her stolen vehicle.
Do you know what?
Repeat that. Slow down a little bit. Go ahead.
I was weighed down by a citizen claiming that she found her stolen vehicle.
Okay, do you remember what that lady's name was?
Holly?
Okay, so Holly waved you down and said she found her stolen vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. So where did you go to locate the vehicle?
So I made a U-turn and I turned around and I met with the victim and her boyfriend, Timothy, and they both told me that the vehicle was parked and they were pointing at the vehicle and told me it was there.
Okay, and where was the vehicle parked?
Old ass car.
The vehicle was parked on the north side of 2nd Street in between West and Sierra.
And is that within the city limits of Reno?
Yes.
Do you remember approximately how long that car had been stolen?
It was actually stolen the night prior. My partner had took the initial case, and we were both looking for the vehicle.
Okay, so what did you know at that point about who had stolen the car?
I knew nothing.
And in your observation,
So he knew nothing, but when he was talking to the victim, oh yeah, he could have done it, maybe.
We were checking for bodies, remember?
Yeah, he was checking for bodies in a car that, you know, car windows weren't tinted at all. There was no bodies anywhere. If there was one, it might have been in the trunk, but
Car was built in 1616.
you couldn't check the trunk until they got the keys.
and experience, what are the dangers of investigating a crime like this?
It could potentially be used in another crime.
What are the dangers of investigating a crime like this?
Well, okay, so again, murder crimes, drug trafficking. Again, stuff that could be seen, plain view doctrine.
Right.
Drug trafficking, violent crimes, robberies, known in that nature.
Well, and here's the thing, Sotelo, is that you got waved down by the victim who found her car and could have contaminated the crime scene already. So, yeah, go figure that one out.
Can there be weapons in the vehicle?
Yes.
People in the vehicle?
Yes.
Bodies in the vehicle?
Yes.
Hey, you could tell that Schumann and Sotelo had to talk about that. That's why he mentioned bodies, because of her. It sounds
that's what they're trained to is look at dead bodies.
That's why she mentioned bodies because of him, because he mentioned bodies like 4 times when he was talking about checking the car the first time.
They're so
Right,
silly.
exactly.
Silly.
They're just trying to back their end of a weak argument.
Yeah.
So when you first approached this vehicle, so you're investigating a felony, is that right?
Yes.
I should have clarified that. So when you first approached this vehicle, what did you do?
Initially, I told the victims to stay behind while I made sure there was nobody inside. I checked to see if there was no...
You can clearly see it was nobody inside the car. It's only like 4 foot tall.
Wait.
It's a Hot Wheel.
He just lied to the court. He never said that to them. Not on the body-worn camera, unless he told them while that 30 seconds while the body cam was activating. He never told the victim to stay back.
Nope. She was right there.
He was more concerned about you once he seen where you were at. Oh my gosh, he lied to the court.
Disgusting.
No inside occupied vehicle.
Okay. And what did you know was inside the vehicle when you started your investigation?
Nothing.
Nothing. Were the windows tinted?
Yes.
And you were looking
That's
inside-
a lie.
What? Oh my God, he lied to the court again.
You guys go check out that video.
Not tinted.
That old ass car. Searching it for what? Gold?
I need to pull up that. Hit play. I'm going to pull up that video and pause it on my end so we can see that car.
Can you do that for him real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and hit play, and or give me a second here. Let me see if I can find it here.
Absolutely. He was searching for gold in the car, Xander. You think he found any?
No, bodies the whole time, man. Bodies. That's all he was concerned about was bodies. There might be bodies in the trunk. There might be bodies in the back seat. But you could see the back seats. You could see everything all the way through the car from where you were standing with the camera against the wall, 18 feet away.
Clear as day.
Oh, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Is this it? No.
We lost your audio.
Oh, you lost my audio?
There you go. I hear you.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me play this here. Let me go ahead and okay, video file. I found your
The arrest video.
arrest video, yeah. Post court.
Welcome to Sacramento Community Watch. Look like we have Officer Sotelo here.
You can see the color of the brick through the windows from here.
Right.
Yeah, they're not.
Only through the front windows.
Okay, no. The back window is tinted. Okay, I'll give Officer Sotelo that. The back window is tinted. But the front window is not.
And you can clearly see in the back seat, it's only like full car is only like 8 inches long.
Yeah, the back window is completely clear. There's no tint on it. Both of the door windows are completely clear. There's no tint on them. It's just the back side windows, and you can see around from both sides. So it's not like there's anything in the car he can't see walking around the back of it.
I'm surprised she even wanted to recover that vehicle.
Yeah.
I would have left it right there. Look at the wheels. Look at the wheels.
So we'll give him that. He should have said partially tinted, the back windows maybe, but
Vehicle with the flashlight?
Yes.
Why were you doing that?
To get a better view inside.
Okay. Now, is that a standard thing for you to do with stolen vehicles?
To look inside, yes. For any evidentiary evidence, any value, I guess you'd say.
Okay. Did you talk to the victim about the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do next?
I asked her, I confirmed that this was their vehicle, and he said yes. They advised me that the door handle was broken and that they did not have the keys with them at the time.
Did you ask them to pop the trunk of the vehicle?
Yes.
And were they able to do that?
Not without the keys.
Okay. Why would you ask them to pop the trunk?
I was wanting to make sure before I released the vehicle to them.
okay, so he didn't even know if he could get into the car, and yet you interfered with his investigation.
He knew he couldn't get into the car.
Right.
Yet, Sacramento Community Watch interfered with. He knew he couldn't get into the car because the door handle was broken and the keys were not on site. He had to wait for the keys to get there. So there was no way he was. And according to what he said at that point in time, he couldn't even start searching the vehicle because the doors were locked and they didn't have the keys.
And when I first watched the live stream, I was thinking that same thing too. Is he hasn't even attempted to get into the vehicle yet. He doesn't even know if the doors are locked or not. And besides, the criminal doesn't really lock the doors behind them as they abandon a vehicle. But the trunk was the only thing they couldn't get into until they got the keys after we analyzed the video.
This dynamic duo, this couple, they probably were drunk and left the car there themselves and thought somebody stole it.
But I think what they said was the guy worked at one of the local casinos, and that it was stolen while he was at work, is what we heard on the body worn camera. So yeah, it's
somebody stole a Scooby-Doo car, a Flintstone car, Flintstones.
No guns, no weapons, anything of evidence value for my case.
Okay, potentially drugs or anything like that. Okay. Did you check to see if the vehicle was unlocked?
I did. So I walked around. I noticed the passenger door was unlocked, but
after he arrested Sacramento Community Watch.
Right.
After he arrested Sacramento Community Watch.
While I made my way around, the driver's side was locked.
Okay. Now, at this point, how many officers were on scene with you?
It was just me.
And what influence does that have in how you handle a scene like this?
Well, the investigating a felony crime is a big hazard for me because I don't know if there's the criminal just dropped off the vehicle. I don't know if there's anything of evidentiary value. I don't know how long the vehicle has been parked there. It's pretty concerning to me.
Okay.
Just not knowing the unknowns.
So, okay. So for his safety, because he doesn't know what's going on with this vehicle, but at the same time, the victim's there, and there is no criminal around, from what we could tell.
She stole the car, her own car.
Yeah, she could have stole her own car too. Yeah, you're right, Sacramento. If you're the one who stole the car because you were recording officers in the course of their duty, then she could have stole the car just to play some sort of prank. I'm not saying she did, but if we're gonna have wild delusion of fantasies, let's have that one. What was that, Xander?
Insurance.
Yeah, insurance. Yeah.
They were just coming back from buying a new car because that one was stolen. Right.
And again,
right out of the parking lot at his work, which is employee parking, which is monitored with cameras.
Yeah, why didn't they go to the casino to try to get the footage? Did they have that? I mean, I guess we could take a look at their subscriptions. Anyways, hey, folks, again, just want to take a moment here to pause and tell you, hey, please like, share, and subscribe to Sacramento Community Watch, Reno News Now, and Xander the Educator. All of our links are down in the description below. Again, Sacramento Community Watch is monetized. And we should be doing super stickers.
Finally.
Yes, and we need about another 1,000 watch hours, folks, under Sacramento Community Watch for him to actually get the next step of monetization with YouTube, which is actually earning ads on videos and stuff like that. So please go through our live streams, watch them again, and do that for us on the Sacramento Community Watch channel.
Show your whole family. Shit, let everybody know about this.
Yeah, let everybody know.
So, and you're walking around the vehicle, kind of looking around, you said?
Yes.
Okay, now when did you notice Mr. England?
It's actually as I was walking in front of the vehicle to confirm the VIN.
Say my name, say my name.
I looked across the street and I noticed he was on the T2 travel.
We need to make that a stinger.
I know, because they always say it. All right.
Say my name, every time they say your name, we should go hit the stinger on there.
Hey, baby.
Okay, and you said you saw him in the travel lane?
Yes.
He was not in the travel lane.
Lie. And the lie detector confirming.
You were standing in the exact same place you would if you were getting in your vehicle to leave.
Okay, somebody click back.
To get to the driver's door of your vehicle to move your car.
Right, he was in the parking lane. So we accidentally skipped back here. So hopefully we'll get right back where we were here.
I'm sorry, when did more officers arrive?
About 5 minutes after.
Okay, let's
do back up.
This is plaintiff's proposed exhibit number 2.
Good.
Okay, how far away from you was he standing at this point?
About 30 feet.
Seconds?
Yes, it is.
Okay, have you modified?
The vehicle to them to make sure there's no dead bodies, no guns, no weapons, anything of evidentiality for the case.
Okay, potentially drugs or anything like that. Okay. Did you check to see if the vehicle was unlocked?
I did. So I walked around. I noticed the passenger door was unlocked, but while I made my way around, the driver's side was locked.
His story's all over the place.
Now, at this point, how many officers were on scene with you?
It was just me.
And what influence does that have in how you handle a scene like this?
Well, investigating a felony crime, it's a big hazard for me because I don't know if there's the criminal just dropped off the vehicle. I don't know if there's anything of evidential value. I don't know how long the vehicle has been parked there. It's pretty concerning to me. Okay. Just not knowing the unknowns.
So, and you're walking around the vehicle?
She left her diamond ring in there.
Kind of looking around, you said?
Yes.
Okay, now when did you notice Mr. England?
It's actually as I was walking in front of the vehicle to confirm the VIN. I looked across the street and I noticed he was on the T2 travel lane.
Okay, and you said you saw him in the travel lane?
Yes.
Lie.
Your Honor, if I can approach. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Vehicle traveling eastbound on 2nd Street, and Mr. England standing in the travel lane.
Okay, is this a still shot of your body cam?
Yes, it is.
Is it at 1 minute 31 seconds?
Yes, it is.
Okay, have you modified this or tampered with it in any way?
No.
Your Honor, we move to admit it.
No objection.
Right.
Your
I'm sorry, so as we go on, he's standing in the travel lane, in the eastbound travel lane.
Yes.
Okay, and there was a vehicle.
Oh, did you hear? Did you hear? Yes. That I don't know about you, but that was a hesitation of a lie.
Mm-hmm. This all seems made up. All of this with them, it seems all made up. Like they've already discussed it. They already, got everything in order, all the ducks in the right row, all that. It seems.
That's standard police procedure.
Right, standard, right? They got it all made up already.
So yeah, so the judge, from what it sounds like, the judge is looking at the evidence and he's going, does it really look like he's standing in the T2? And he's having the Tyrant double down here.
Yeah.
Driving in his direction?
On the T1 traveling.
Okay.
It was a T2.
Okay, and then was the car already in the T1 travel lane? Yes, it was. Did it move out of the T2 into the T1?
Nope.
No, it did not.
Never changed lanes.
Does he have evidence that the car actually moved from T1 to T2 or
No.
from T2 to T1? No, he don't.
So he was in that lane of travel?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. So yeah, he's making sure the officer's covering his ass.
Difficult because we don't have any way to display it for the court, but can you describe this photograph for the judge? Here, I'll give you a copy.
So
Just this thing.
the defendant's on the south side of the street, on 2nd Street, on the east travel lane. You can tell there's a vehicle parked, and there's also a white line towards the back of the pickup truck near the rear left tire. He's actually past that white line in the travel lane.
You're saying his foot is over?
Lie.
Yes.
Okay. So
And the lie determined that was a lie.
Yeah.
This is funny, disgusting.
you told him to get off the street.
Yes.
How many times did you tell him to get off the street?
3 times.
And what did he do?
He said he wasn't on the street and that he's good.
Okay. How far away from you was he standing at this point?
My thing is, why was you so worried about me, but you had a felony vehicle to search and dead bodies to look for and gold rings and, dope? What about all that? But you're looking at me across the street recording your tyrant ass.
Standing at the back end of a pickup truck in the parking lane.
Right.
And you're probably using video still shots that are so far away.
Mm-hmm.
Those still shots, again, the still shots get distorted and that's what we accounted for whenever me and you went out there to measure things. Right. Is to take into account the distortion of the optical lenses. They do not at all, and they make excuses that I'm trying to make it seem like you're further away and he's closer. It's just outrageous.
And were you okay with him filming you from across the street?
I was fine as long as he was doing it in a safe place.
The lie detector determined that was a lie. He didn't want me recording him at all.
Safe distance.
So was he filming you? I don't know if we touched on that.
It looked like he was filming, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, he did?
Yes.
Okay, so did he ignore you? Did he listen to you? Did he back up?
He refused to get out of the street.
How would you describe his behavior toward?
The lie detector determined that was a lie. I did get off the street. In fact, I got out the street, walked up the street to the crosswalk, crossed over, then disappointing.
You during this initial interaction?
Confrontational.
So what did you do next?
Then I actually ignored him, called for another unit, and I continued my investigation.
Okay, and you called for backup, you said?
Yes.
Did you see that individual again?
Yes. So once I confronted the vehicle, I went back to the sidewalk. I was talking to the victim, and I could see that Mr. England was now walking to the crosswalk. And then
Okay, so I want to point out here, folks. I actually found the body worn camera video. I'm going to share my screen here real quick.
Show it, show it, show it, show it.
So this is where you were.
Right.
Your shoulder is right up against the back end of that truck.
Yeah.
There was no way that you were in the T1 travel lane. Okay, again,
look where his truck is. Look where his truck is.
You guys need to realize something here is that these body-worn cameras on police wear have a fisheye lens. So everything is warped. Everything is curved just a little bit. You can, if you can see, I don't think, yeah, you can see my mouse. As you can see, this is usually to us, when we're standing on the street, this would be a straight line. And,
that's curved.
as you can see here, this line is curved. So if you get a still shot of this, yes, it does make it look like Sacramento's past that white dashed line, but he's no further out into traffic than what it would take him to walk get into that truck if that was his truck.
And who the hell do they think they are? Why would I stand in the middle of the street? Come on.
This isn't the middle of the street, and I'm surprised the judge didn't see that. It's just downright stupid.
And yet he's worried. Look how far I was. He's worried about me. A petty Betty.
Yeah.
across the crosswalk and come to my side of the street.
So he was on your side of the street on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay. And approximately, so what did you do?
So I seen him walking towards me. I gave him, I asked him to stop.
Okay. And how?
Again, ask. It was an ask. It wasn't a lawful order.
Definitely.
How far away from him were you when you said stay back?
About a car length, maybe, I don't know, 30 feet.
Okay, so you're telling him to stop. Did he stop or did he continue towards you?
He used my command to continue to walk towards me.
Okay, and he's walking towards you.
Okay, so now instead of an ask, it was a command.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, a command.
Which one was it, Officer Sotelo?
Were you asking, or was this a command?
So yeah, you already messed up there.
And Schumann is just guiding him. Yeah. She's guiding him. You know,
Schumann's guiding the witness.
Just all the way through it.
So I've been kind of watching the DUI Guy Plus. If you guys have a chance, go and subscribe to him as well. He said it as a defense witness when you're questioning police officers like this. What you need to do is ask them yes or no questions. You don't ever ask them anything you don't already know the answer to. And you know, she's just asking him, you know, trying to play along into his delusions here.
Xander, you say something, huh?
Since when does an officer on a public sidewalk have dominion and control over a private citizen that's not breaking the law?
Exactly.
What right does he have extra rights? What right does he have to tell you to do anything?
None.
Closed crime scene. You're not suspected of a crime. He can't tell you anything. You don't have to listen to a word he says. This is the United States of America until he suspects you of a crime and he can detain you. He can't tell you shit. That's what really bothers me.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Hit that again. Hit that again.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Thank you, Xander. You are absolutely 100% right in that. But unfortunately, the contempt of cop law. Again, a contempt of cop law. Resisting. There is no resisting arrest law in Nevada. It's resisting a public officer. And again, it's not a secondary crime. It apparently can be a first the whole 20 seconds for him to arrest you. So it's just downright silly.
Okay, so what did you do next?
I asked him again if he could just stop, go back where he was at,
Did
continue.
he
I stopped.
respond?
He said yes. He said I'm on the fucking sidewalk.
Okay, so he refused?
Yes.
Okay, so he lied. He said effing sidewalk. I'm on an effing sidewalk. You said I'm on a public sidewalk.
Right.
And this just goes to the whole point. If you listen to both audios at the same time and have them matched up like I did for the court, you guys override each other. You guys over talk each other and nobody can hear each other. So Tyrant Tony wound up escalating it because nobody could hear each other. He couldn't hear what you said. This is a public sidewalk. He heard it as this is an effing sidewalk, and you're sitting here trying to hold a conversation with your camera and your followers on a static recording. So again, they didn't listen to both audios independently. They took what they heard off of their body cam, and in the body cam, it does kind of sound like this is an effing sidewalk, but what you were saying was this is a public sidewalk, which is clear as day.
That's exactly what I said.
More audio.
I would never be disrespectful like that initially anyways, and I said, this is a public sidewalk. How do you mistaken that for, that goes to show that they, were in cahoots and talked and discussed everything before,
I believe your attorney does clarify that though.
Yeah, he does.
And again, I don't know that because I haven't heard it.
Continue to walk towards you?
Yes.
Then what happened?
So he continued, and I explained to him, hey, I don't have to explain to him what I'm doing or what I'm investigating, but I explained to him this is the felony crime I'm investigating, a crime. I cannot have my back towards him while investigating this crime.
Okay, so when he finally stopped.
Oh, like I was a threat. I'm a threat, guys. All of a sudden, I'm a threat. What the dude?
And again, we've discussed this as well. There was plenty of things he could have done. There was plenty. What'd you say, Xander?
Would he have been okay having his back to you if you didn't have a camera?
Of course. Because
he had his back to his mom. His mom went behind his back multiple times. Yeah.
Just because you had a camera, he didn't turn his back on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the only reason.
And again, it's going to get brought up too, the bald, rude, and disgusting comments as well. But let's keep going.
How far away from you was he?
He was about six feet away from me.
Nope.
Okay.
3 steps.
2 to 3.
2 to 3 steps.
a lie detector determined that was a lie.
If you take giant steps like I do.
Yeah, 16 feet away, guys. Horrible.
I thought we measured 18.
It was 16.
Took me.
I can pull up the video of it. I can pull up the video.
He's an all-time liar. That's all he is. Habitual liar.
Your Honor, if I can approach.
He was 2 to 3 steps away from you.
2 to 3 steps away, yes.
Yeah, if you took giant steps.
Your Honor, if I can approach. This is plaintiff's proposed exhibit number 2. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
We brought video. They brought photographs of the video.
It's my body cam, the victim. The still shot, yes.
At what time?
Classic, right?
At 3:41.
Okay, have you modified this or tampered with it in any way?
No.
Your Honor, I move to admit plaintiff's exhibit 2.
No objection.
To the judge. Okay, so let's talk about this photo. You can just kind of describe this for the judge.
So I'm actually giving them a command to go back where I told him to originally stop, which is near the light pole.
That's your arm there?
Yes.
You're actually directing him to go back?
Yes. He's refusing.
And is that where he stopped?
Yes.
And you're saying from where he is there to where you're standing, it was about 6 feet, between 6 and 8 feet?
Correct.
Okay, and how many steps between you and him?
2 to 3 steps.
And who actually went out there and measured it? Not them. Not one of their detectives. So this is all theoretical. This is all theoretical because they don't actually have any distances recorded.
Okay, so what did you say to him?
I told him to go back where he was at, back over there, by the light pole.
Okay. And he refused?
He refused.
And then what did you do?
And then I told him that now he was being detained. I fixed him in handcuffs.
Okay.
All in 30
Did
seconds.
you explain what you were doing?
Yes, I explained to him before I didn't put him in handcuffs, made the decision to put him in handcuffs. I explained to him that I was investigating a crime.
His investigation and what he was doing had absolutely nothing to do with me.
And like I said,
what he was doing, I mean, I don't care about what you're doing. Do your damn job and leave me the hell alone. That's what you should be doing. You should be focused on the car and Miss Lumpy Bump that was next to you.
So in Sacramento, real quick here. The other thing is too, is he was all of a sudden wanting to get into the back of this car when you showed up.
Right.
And with no backup. Again, we timed this all out. There was 5 minutes where it took him to talk to his sergeant while his buddy was filling out the paperwork. And he, rather than doing paperwork for 5 minutes, waiting for his backup to arrive so he can get into the back of the car, he decided to escalate things with you and arrest you for filming because he felt that you were too close and had no legal reason to tell you to get back.
Yep.
Filing crime, and that I couldn't have him behind my back while I was investigating this crime.
Okay.
Why is that? Why couldn't I be 16 away from you while you went into the back of the car?
Yeah, Arizona got law struck down that was 8 foot. So, according to the, it hasn't gone to the Supreme Court. It's gotten to a district federal court. They're, I think they're in the same jurisdiction. I'm not 100% sure, but 8 foot it should be the golden rule, but we can't because there's no court that has officially deemed it so yet.
And then he still wouldn't back up?
He said no, he refused.
And then then you detained him?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you detain?
And how long between the time that you told him to stand back there and the time that it took you to detain him? Did you try to de-escalate the situation at all? Less than 30 seconds. Less than that. That's downright rude and insane.
Detain him for?
For obstructing my investigation.
Okay, he was disobeying your repeated commands?
Yes.
And you said you didn't want him behind you while you were looking into the vehicle?
Correct.
Why is that a concern of yours?
That's a concern. It's an officer safety concern because I don't know if he has any weapons on him. I don't know what's
officer safety.
There it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Officer safety.
There it is. The unwritten law, officer safety. It's the unwritten law. The judges tend to go with officer safety every single time, even though it's not a written law.
Yeah, it's not a law. I mean, every time I hear it, it sounds.
what his intentions are, and like.
My intentions were the same as any other time that I've dealt with law enforcement when we were out on a cop watch or traffic stop. We stand back, we record, we document. That's what journalists do.
171.1233. We want to record you in the course of your duty. The best interaction that we have with you, Officer Sotelo, is one where you don't talk to us and we don't talk to you.
Xander, go ahead.
I believe that the law and the spirit of the Constitution state that you have the right to have line of sight and see what he's doing in that car. You were against the wall, as far away from as far across on the sidewalk as you could get, and still have line of sight with him in the car.
Absolutely.
The appeal's a slam dunk. The man's a moron. He has no legal basis with which to tell you, instruct you, demand you do anything.
Nothing.
Exactly. Officer safety is not a law.
It's a big officer safety for me, and not only that, but for the civilian,
drawing your attention to this exhibit number 2. You can see Mr. England there. What's in his hand?
He has a cell phone on his left hand, and he has his right hand near his pocket.
Well, he has a cell phone in his hand. It's, you know, a Long Island audit. Shout out to him. And one of the officers that wound up saying, "Oh, in my years of police experience, a cell phone can be modified into a deadly weapon." Bullshit.
My years experience working TSA, toothpaste tube can be turned into IED.
Partially concealed?
Correct, yes.
So there could potentially be a weapon in there or something else?
Yes.
Okay, so again, hand in the pocket. Don't know if he has any weapons. What are the tools of disposal that a police officer has to make sure that he has officer safety? What did they give them? They gave them, what was it called? Terry v. Ohio. And Terry v. Ohio says that he could do a Terry pat down for officer safety. So why was he detained? Why didn't you just get a Terry pat down? Make sure that you had no weapons on you. If he had weapons on you, he could have detained you and then put, and removed the weapons from you and violated your Second Amendment, I guess. But I mean, technically he could have soft violated you with a Terry pat down.
Yep. He didn't want to do that though,
De-escalation. No, he decided to escalate. He didn't want to do a Terry pat down. He wanted to arrest your ass.
Okay, and you said it's by his pocket?
Yes.
What's Xander?
In order to do a Terry stop, you need probable cause to believe that the person might be armed. He knows damn good and well you're not armed. He's had prior run-ins with you, prior experience with you. He knows that you're there to record. So he couldn't do a Terry stop because he doesn't have any reason to believe that you're armed.
Well, even if that's the case, I mean, and he's alone. I mean, he could probably use the "I'm alone" thing. But yeah, no. It again. There's nothing. Nothing. There. That's interesting, broad angle. That's Indiana law about 25-foot buffer. I think they tried to do something like that in Arizona as well, an even further buffer than the 8-foot, but it's just a matter of time before those stupid things are struck down.
Okay, so how did the defendant's actions delay your investigation?
Well, his actions delayed me because now I have to focus my attention to him, not knowing where his intentions are. I explained to him multiple times,
Okay, no. The intention was, I think it's slide 7, NRS 171.1233. Recording of law enforcement activity. That's what he's doing. That's what his intentions are. And it says here that he's not to willfully interfere, just like it says he's not to willfully interfere with the contempt of cop law that he's trying to quote here.
I told him that I was investigating crime, placing me and my safety and the victim's safety, and I had to stop what I was doing to make sure that we were safe.
The victim's safety, trust me, she can handle herself.
Okay, and did you know if this defendant was going to be a threat to you or not?
I did not.
Okay. So
that's a lie.
Obviously, in your job, do you have to prepare for the worst?
Yes.
So what happened once you detained the defendant?
Once I detained the defendant,
You made a racist comment.
I had to completely stop what I was doing. I had to stop interacting with the victim. And
He didn't have to do anything. He could have just did his job.
Could have took the report.
Yeah, who was in agreement? Are we all in agreement here? He could have just did his job.
Yeah, definitely.
Xander, what do you think?
Yep.
Of course, that's what he should have been doing. He only took 90 seconds to search the car when he did get around to it, which was less time than it took you to walk around the block.
Thank you.
Yeah, he could have gone through the vehicle by the time he walked around the block. He could have got the victim's information and started filling out a report and kept you in line of sight while filling out a
Period.
report for 5 minutes for his backup to arrive, so that way he could
Period.
get into the back of the car. You know,
Period.
there's all kinds of things he could have done. But no, he wanted to go into what was presumed a locked car, because you walked up onto his scene and you were recording.
And I called for additional units and a supervisor to come to my location.
Okay, what did the defendant say to you?
He mentioned that you guys just don't learn.
Okay, and did he say anything else?
And that he was in allegations with another officer.
He said he was in litigation with another officer? Okay, and did he threaten to sue?
I was in litigation with another officer, Tyrant Christian Hoyt, with the Reno Police Department.
You?
Yes, he said that you just told her you're going to be in litigations too.
Okay, and what did he say about his arrest?
That it was unlawful.
Okay, did you?
They shouldn't have had their discussion with each other, because it's so evident that they had a talk before. It's
Yeah,
so
he was
evident.
coached.
Yeah, it's so evident. Wow. It's horrible,
Did
disgusting.
you explain why he was arrested?
He told me that he expressed that I was arrested for recording. I explained to him that no, that wasn't the case. The reason why I'm detaining you is because you're obstructing my investigation.
Okay, so if
Because
he
I had
stayed back
ADD.
and continued filming, that would have been okay?
Yes, that's totally fine.
Or if he had been filming from across the street?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so he was filming across the street, and he just said it was fine. So his whole testimony about you being in the middle lane is bullshit, because you weren't in the middle lane.
See? What's in the dark comes to light.
And just so you folks know, Xander was mad dogging him the whole time in the courtroom too, giving him the stink eye.
Which is why he arrested him. Super sad.
What did the defendant tell you about recording?
That he was on a fucking sidewalk and he could record.
And he can record wherever he wants?
Yes.
The lie detector determined that was a lie. I never said I was on a fucking sidewalk.
I'm sorry. You said what?
He was on the fucking sidewalk.
Okay, did he tell you he can record wherever he wants?
Yes.
Okay. When did Officer...
Isn't that the First Amendment? I can record wherever I want, right? As long as I'm not arrested in RS 171.1233, right?
As long as you're not detained, and even if you are detained, you still have the right to maintain your media.
Schumann, stop coaching your the people you defend in court, please.
Schumann should have been asking him all these questions in the first place, making sure his story was correct, and his story is fishy from the beginning. And if she knew a thing one about how cameras worked, she would have thrown this whole thing out.
I'm sorry, when did more officers arrive?
About 5 minutes after I got on scene.
How many more officers arrived?
3 officers.
And did you ask for your sergeant to respond?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Because after he mentioned about the litigations, and I just wanted to fill in my supervisor of what was being said. And
This was the smartest thing he did, was notify his supervisor, because I let him know about the litigation between me and Hoyt. That was the smartest thing he's ever done, ever.
And then they muted their body cameras and conspired against you.
Right.
What was being said?
Okay, and was the defendant cited for obstructing?
Yes, he was.
Okay, and why was he cited for that?
He was cited because I was still busy dealing with my investigation over here. We came to the conclusion maybe this would be, he will learn from, we're not trying to be malicious and just arrest him. We're explaining to him why we're arresting him.
Why you were citing him?
Why we're citing him, sorry.
Instead of
Yes.
We weren't being malicious. We're just trying to tell you why we cited you. Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe he'll learn his lesson. It's so funny that they even speak like that, because when are they going to learn their lessons?
They have a history of arresting journalists.
Correct.
Did the victim, Holly, did she say she wanted to make a statement?
She did.
About how she felt by the defendant? Okay.
Coaching, Your Honor. Coaching. I mean, oh God.
Since when do feelings affect rights?
Right.
When does this become feelings enforcement? This whole, I mean, as we're going through this, it sounds like feelings enforcement.
Yeah.
Okay, one other question. The individual that you detained and cited, is he present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you please
Duh.
speak to him and identify clothing?
No, he out back in the alley smoking a cigarette.
Oh, Sam, I just thought of something. You
What's
should
up?
have had your brother in there. You should have played
Oh,
the
wow.
twin game.
Well, our hair is different, so.
Well, I mean, your brother could sacrifice his hair for a twin game, but
That ain't gonna happen.
that ain't gonna happen. We don't want to get in more trouble with the court.
Right.
Article of clothing he's wearing?
He's wearing a blue polo shirt, short sleeve.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect that he's identified the defendant.
Totally fine.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play your body cam. And Your Honor, it's short, I promise. It's about 8 minutes. And it has been stipulated too. I'm going to go ahead and mark it as Plaintiff's Exhibit 3.
That's correct, Your Honor. I gave a nonverbal nod that we've stipulated the initials.
And Your Honor, I'm just wondering, how do you want me to mark this? Okay, we'll just stick that bad boy on there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this.
When she said bad boy, was she talking about Sotelo?
It looks like this is going to probably turn into 3 videos, folks. We were kind of hoping for 2, but we're shooting for an hour, and we're trying to get to the end of Tyrant to Tony's day on the stand here. So
Yeah, because it gets juicy after a little while.
and this is why they need to move the courtroom video.
This one's yours? Alright. Well, I'm not gonna get in there. Stop the trunk for me.
Okay, do you have your keys? We didn't know we were gonna find the car,
Okay.
but we can go home and get the.
Well, you're in a chance of it getting stolen again, so.
Oh yeah, right. No, we're not gonna leave it here for
Why
sure.
are you getting keys?
I'm staying here.
There we go, folks. He's asking, how are you going to get the keys? He couldn't even get in the car to search it.
Here and you turn around, go home and get the keys. I can't believe I just went to.
I can't believe I found this old ass car.
And we covered this body worn camera on our
Did I
previous
move it
live.
again?
So-
I think
No,
I
you
might.
didn't. No, you're good.
And there it was. I was like, oh my God, this car.
This car is great.
Huh? Get off the street. You need to get in my car. No, get off the street, please.
No.
What's he taking a picture of?
What's he taking a picture of? He knows darn well what he's taking a picture of. He's taking a picture of Tony the Tyrant.
Him.
NRS 171.1233. Could have told the woman, like we said in the previous live streams.
Learn it.
Oh.
Learn it.
Charles 316, and then again, please. Okay, Charles 316, can you check, please? Or confirm that for me, please?
See, that's when he called for backup.
Won't be from you.
I actually found it. I never thought I'd see it. This makes me so happy.
Girl, you ain't find no BMW. Get over it.
That kind of was weird.
The First Amendment.
Tell her about the law, Sotelo, or don't you know it?
Yeah, he doesn't want to even inform her. He doesn't even know NRS 171.1233. He's just like, oh, he's going to come over here and record us.
He's re-victimizing the victim.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Police love to re-victimize the victim.
For sure.
I would guess it's probably him or his friend that stole the car, and that's.
Lady, don't nobody want that old ass, raggedy ass 1542 vehicle that you. I can't.
You know, let's just keep going. Yeah. Did they play the audio all the way through, or did they stop it at times? I mean, because we can skip forward through this. We've seen the audio and talked about it already.
Yeah, let's try to skip it. Skip past it.
Okay. We're going to try to skip past it, folks, here.
Prior to it?
Yeah.
After he was arrested or before?
That stole the car, and that's why he's letting the guy know that the car was taken.
Even if somebody did steal the car, you can only sell it for about 25, 30 cents.
Stay over there, sir. Stay over there, sir. Over there. Okay.
Clear as day. I said public sidewalk. Clear as day.
So I'm trying to investigate. Okay. This is going okay, so go over there. Because I can't have somebody behind my back while I'm trying to investigate. Okay, so
But her wide body self was standing there.
Why didn't she have her move back 30 feet?
Right. I'm more of a threat than she was. I mean, she's more of a threat than I was. Come on, man.
Perfect. Perfect. I gave you plenty of opportunity.
See, there he said it. I gave you plenty of opportunity to leave. You didn't take it. He wanted you to leave. That's right. He didn't want you to record. He wanted you to leave.
You guys are not learning. You guys are not learning. It's okay. What's your name, sir? Walter England. Okay, Mr. England.
You know I'm in the litigation right now with Walter.
That is fine.
Right, because it's the same exact reason. It's not to jail. The quick take me out of jail.
Well, guess what?
Because of the fact that he unlawfully arrested me. And you're doing it again.
Did you feel sick, man?
There's no reason for it, though. On the other side of
Can you back that up?
Yes.
Just back it up prior to the exchange between the officer and the defendant.
Prior to it?
Yeah.
After he was arrested or before?
No, before.
Before he was
The
arrested.
defendant was still on the sidewalk.
Yes. Okay.
And what do you want to back it up for? I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, what did you think that they had at that point?
I guess it just needs a minute.
It's technically accurate as I am.
Huh. Okay. I'll just reopen it. 3:25.
Yeah, I know. So that makes me wonder why he would be doing that.
Again, tell him the law, Sotelo.
He can't do it. He won't do it.
I would guess it's probably him or his friend that stole the car, and that's why.
Girl,
friends that
nobody
don't
wants that raggedy ass car. What can I do with it? Yeah, I mean, it's psycho.
He's letting the guy know that the car was taken.
She needs to watch herself. That could lead to defamation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you would have got hung up in the court like that, that could have led to defamation if they would have, you know.
sir. Still there, sir. Over there. Okay.
Public sidewalk. I agree.
So I'm trying to investigate. Okay. Is this going on? Okay, so go.
Sotelo and Schumann put that together. The effing sidewalk. They put that all together.
Yeah, they made the narrative. They made the narrative
Yes.
that he said effing sidewalk.
Yes, absolutely.
And they were basically trying to make it seem like Sacramento was trying to escalate the situation when it was actually Tyrant Sotelo who escalated the situation.
Over there. Because I can't have somebody behind my back while I'm trying to investigate. Okay, so now you're going to be detained, okay? Why would I be detained? You're going to be detained until I'm done my investigation.
That's when he slammed me up against the glass, folks.
Hey, Sacramento, just real quick here. I got to go take care of some dog duty. I'm by myself here. I got to let the dogs out. So I'm going to go on mute and step away, and I'm going to keep you in my ear so I can hear what's going on. So,
all right, got you.
Perfect. I give you plenty of opportunity to leave. You don't want to leave. You guys are not learning. You guys are not learning. It's okay. What's your name, sir? Walter England. Okay, Mr. England. You know me living this right now with Walter. That's fine. Right, because the same exact reason. And the sergeant in jail would quick take me out of the jail. Well, guess what?
Yeah, the last arrest, folks, the sergeant came and picked me up from the jail after about 6-7 hours. Picked me up from the jail, asked me, shook my hand, asked me, hey, can I give you a ride home? Sure, why not? He knew his officer did wrong, just like Sotelo did. Let's keep watching. It's horrible.
Did you feel unsafe, man?
Did she feel unsafe?
She should have felt unsafe. She had Sotelo right there.
Right.
The Tyrant right there. She should have felt unsafe.
Right. Exactly. Not only that, she could take on 10 baboons by herself. What the hell?
There will be litigation issues as well. I don't know why you guys keep making the same mistake. You guys keep making the same exact mistake. I can record you anytime I want you from a public side.
They keep making the same mistake.
well, and that's one thing too, is I don't feel safe now around Reno PD because they don't feel safe.
The thing is, there's other places out there hiring. We say it all the time, guys, in our lives. Popeye's Chicken is currently hiring. You know, be a fry cook or something there at Popeye's Chicken where you don't have to, feel like that your life is in danger, right?
Oh, no. I mean, do you see how many fast food restaurant workers get assaulted on a daily basis by Karens?
Security there.
He's better off working for Allied Security. If he wants to go play with guns, let him go work for a military contractor.
I'll pass the witness.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll just pick up right where Ms. Schumann left off.
Your Honor, if I can approach you to exhibit
This is Mr. Egerton, my attorney, guys.
3.
Can we switch to defense counsel, or defense's computer, please?
I'm sorry.
Can we switch to the defense table display?
Yes.
What was that, Schumann?
Thinking I'm not dexterous enough to do this as extend, duplicate, just one more. Just real quick while we're here, I wanted to listen to some of this audio again.
Here we go, Xander.
There will be litigation issues as well.
And Officer Sotelo, if you could just listen closely and let me know what you hear when I prompt you.
Here we go, folks.
You guys keep making the same mistake. You guys keep making the same exact mistake. I can record you anytime I want you from a
what did you make out Mr. England saying there? I can record you anytime I want.
And public sidewalk.
Public sidewalk, okay. Would you concede that earlier, you made a statement earlier that he described himself as being on a fucking sidewalk?
Yes.
Do you think that he might have said public sidewalk in that earlier conversation?
Potentially could have, yes, that's what I heard.
He did. He did say public sidewalk.
You know what?
You were just too lazy to go back and look at all the effing evidence.
I hear public sidewalk both times, but it's kind of an
Thank you.
of the beholder. Just taking us away from this incident a little bit, Officer Sotelo.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
If you will, it's September 18th, it's about 5:30 in the afternoon. Mr. England's not there. Can you tell us what your investigation looks like?
My investigation will still be the same. If somebody that was walking by, they could walk by, but I knew that he was not there to walk by.
Oh,
Yes.
there it goes.
He was not there
There it
to
goes.
walk by.
There it goes.
He was there to record. He knew he was there to record.
Yep. And he said anybody else walking by can walk by, but he knew that I wasn't there to just walk by.
He was already recording me from the across the street. He refused my commands already. I knew that he was making it a point to come across, and
so he got out of the street, walked around using the sidewalk, because if he would have jaywalked like Mama Watch did, he would have done this exact same tyrannical behavior for jaywalking, which, again, I haven't verified myself if it's a crime or not, but I've been told it's no longer a crime.
Try to interact with me.
Okay.
Try to interact with you. No, he wouldn't have interacted with you until you interacted with him first.
Thank you for sharing that, making a point to interact with me. I want to come back to that in a little bit. But so let's just imagine there's none of these recording folks, or no one else but Ms. Holly's on the street. What do you do?
Same thing I always do. I inventory the vehicle, call for another unit, look for any evidence, see after the inventory the car. While I'm releasing the vehicle, one of my partners will be writing up a tow form.
All kinds of stuff you could have done, but no, you decided you wanted to get into the vehicle when Sacramento Community Watch approached you.
Did he even have the keys yet?
No.
So I was the head.
He just sank his whole prosecution, especially on the appeal.
And that tow form. So the gentleman that Holly was with, Timothy, was that his name?
Yes.
Where is he at this point?
He
Uh-oh.
said he went to his house to go get his keys.
Okay. In your recollection, did he later return with the key?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And so you're waiting for Timothy. Holly doesn't have a key, correct?
Correct.
Timothy.
There you go.
And he's waiting, and he made a call in to his backup, and he's waiting for his backup. So he already knows backup's on the way.
And he couldn't get in the car anyways. I mean, what are you going to do? There it goes. There it goes, folks.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Shout out to Mr. Egerton.
Yes.
So at 5:32 p.m., what would you have been doing had Mr. England not been there?
Inventorying the front compartment of the vehicle, where it was unlocked.
Okay, so you were able to access the front part of the vehicle. Okay. Did you open that front passenger door?
I didn't get time. I got interrupted by Mr. England.
You were interrupted by Mr. England. Okay. And so.
Sounds like a big case of the ADDs to me.
Yeah. And the lie detector determined that was a lie because I was not interrupting him. I didn't interrupt him at all. At all. You got something to say?
You weren't even in the street, so he had no business of talking to you.
Let's just play back a bit of this here. So this is when we're getting the front, the VIN number off the front.
Correct.
Driver's.
Xander, are you trying to say something?
Right.
Yes.
My camera can't be an interruption, can't cause an interruption, can't cause a scene. My camera can't cause anything, can't be considered anything or criminalized in any way because it's my First Amendment freedom of press.
Yep.
He knew you weren't on your way by. He knew you were there to record. Therefore, he intentionally infringed upon your First Amendment right as freedom of press because he singled you out specifically because of the fact that you were recorded. Period. End of sentence.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Violent amendments.
Gotta hurt.
Thank you, Xander.
So you call for your secondary unit around here. You're calling in the VIN. You're waiting for that VIN to come back. Do you happen to recall, just while we're waiting, and this is about 1:45, 2:15 of the clip. Do you happen to remember, did that VIN come back?
I don't recall.
Do you remember who the registered owner was?
It was Timothy.
It was Mr. Timothy. And so that took a couple minutes. That took a couple minutes to come back. That's fine. No, you're fine. Yeah, I'm muting it now. We were at about 2:15 of the video here. Now we've gone on to 2:45. You're talking with Holly about Mr. England crossing the street. You're exchanging ideas with her about what his motives are. So that VIN took a couple minutes to come back, correct?
Usually just confirm the VIN. It takes a minute or two.
Okay.
Sometimes longer.
And speaking of checks, what's Holly's full name?
Holly Anderson?
Okay. Did you run a WINS check on her?
No, I did not.
Okay. What was Timothy's full name?
Timothy.
Here we go. Here we go.
Did you run a WINS check on him?
No.
Okay. These folks flagged you down in the middle of the street?
Correct.
Okay. And you just kind of took with their word that this was their vehicle?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so like I said, I was...
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
The stolen vehicle the night prior.
Right.
It was actually stolen out of the Eldorado.
Okay.
So I was pretty familiar with this case.
Mm-hmm.
That was my job the night before looking for this vehicle.
Had you had
Pretty nervous case. What was nervous about this case? The owners flagged you down, found their own vehicle, flagged you down, and you're
in
nervous?
daylight. In daylight.
In the middle of the day? Officer Sotelo. Oh my gosh.
Horrible. Horrible.
He's more concerned about his guns, clearly, apparently, according to the training, than he is about the Constitution, the law, or, anything.
Any Nevada revised statute doesn't know it. He got to look it up on his phone all the time. He's always like, like, come on, dude, get it together. Get it together.
And the one he knows by heart, apparently, is this, contempt of cop law.
with Holly beforehand?
No, I passed by while my partner was actually taking the initial report.
Yeah, your partner was taking the initial report because you decided to go complain to your supervisor, hold a meeting off cam, and conspiring against Sacramento's rights.
Right. He was
because
crying.
You didn't want to do your job.
Like he said, I was crying to my mom, but yet he cried to the supervisor.
Yeah. I want to back it up just about a minute here.
Okay. Did you run a WINS check on her?
No, I did not.
Okay. What was Timothy's full name?
Timothy Haircox.
Did you run a WINS check on him?
No.
Okay. These folks flagged you down in the middle of the street?
Correct.
Okay. And you just kind of took with their word that this was their vehicle?
Well, yeah, so like I said, I was actually investigating the stolen vehicle the night prior.
Right.
It was actually stolen out of the Eldorado.
Okay.
So I was pretty familiar with this case.
Mm-hmm.
That was my job the night before looking for this vehicle.
Had you had contact with Holly beforehand?
No, I passed by while my partner was actually taking the initial stolen vehicle report.
At this time, this is 2 minutes into the clip, 3 minutes into the clip, did you know that Holly, other than her own statement, did you have any reason to think that Holly was the owner of the vehicle, had a right to the vehicle, could have been the vehicle thief? Did you have any way to distinguish that?
No.
Okay. So, again, 2:15 of the clip, you're in front, you're running the VIN. It's now 2:45 of the clip. I have the sound off. What are you doing now? You're talking with Holly?
So I see that he's making his way towards me. Now it's a safety concern. I just want to make sure I don't want to get too deep and try to get in the vehicle when,
Why is it a safety concern?
Because I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know.
Well, did you not tell?
Did not know what his intentions were. Let's watch this again.
Right back while I'm trying to investigate. Oh, I'm good.
You're not going to be detained, okay?
Why would I be detained?
Because you're being detained. Am I going to be famous too? You're going to put me on your YouTube video?
Of course you will be.
Awesome.
Of course. Deprivation of rights under the color of law.
Do you see the color that I am?
Oh, you know that? You know what that's called, right? That's called prior restraint. Because I need to see you. Because we don't trust you.
He can record all he wants. He's fine. He's protecting my rights.
You got nosy people. Just, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Nosy people?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he knew exactly what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
The lie detector has proven that was a lie.
Yep, he's a liar.
The time he's going to come.
Yep, he said that.
So my safety concern is that if he's coming too close and he's trying to make me interact with me. This is not the first auditors that we dealt with. They're not as nice as they try to seem.
Oh, so he knew I was an auditor?
Nice. Yeah, apparently he did there. He knew you were an auditor. He perjured himself to the court. Oh my gosh.
He's not very bright. He's not a bright guy.
My safety concern is that I was there by myself. I didn't have no cover officers to help me.
Well, one person to help you.
Tell me about the first auditor. What do you mean by that?
I've dealt with multiple auditors in the past.
What is an auditor?
Oh boy.
People that try to exercise their First Amendment right, or they do exercise their First Amendment right. And
so I'm not the first auditor he dealt with, huh?
Apparently not.
My understanding, when they call themselves auditors or police auditors or whatever they call it, they try to bait officers in and try to see if they I don't know, potentially violate their civil rights.
I'm sorry. That is a typical cop explanation of what an auditor is from a tyrant point of view.
Horrible.
Horrible. He doesn't even know what a First Amendment auditor is. He has this vague notion, and what he thinks is we're trying to bait him into a civil rights violations. If we are, apparently he's taking the bait.
100. 100.
No, okay. Tyrant Sotelo, a First Amendment auditor is a person who uses their constitutional rights to make sure that other people's constitutional rights are protected. We're out there to make sure our government is doing what they're supposed to do. And if they are not, it is our responsibility to make sure the world knows it.
And your agency.
Did I hear beat officer then? Bait. Oh, I see. So that they try to kind of push the limits of their free speech rights.
Yes.
Got it. And so this is, Mr. England to be an auditor?
I did not know. At the time, I did not know.
You didn't. Had you ever interacted with Mr. England before?
I call bull. I call BS on that one. He knew you were an auditor. He made mention of it in his report that you wound up, calling him bald, rude, and disgusting, and pointed to your YouTube channel. He absolutely knew. He had prior knowledge of that video.
I had one interaction, but at that time, I couldn't remember who he was.
Oh, okay. What caused you to tell Holly at about 2:45 of the clip he's going to come over here and record us?
Because not every, you don't it's not usual.
Okay. And
so it's this not usual suspicious person, but they can't articulate the crime. You see it all the time in auditing community is, oh, you're out here recording. That's awfully suspicious. It's not normal. I need to see your ID. I want the cookie.
So your testimony is that you have dealt with Mr. England in the past.
No, I'm not saying I couldn't recognize him at the time. I didn't know who he was.
Okay. Do you believe now that you dealt with him in July of 2023, about 2 months before this incident?
Yes, now I do.
Okay. And so your testimony today is that you, in this moment, had no recollection of that interaction.
I had no recollection of who he was until after he mentioned that he was had Hoyt, Officer Hoyt, and he did a recording for reality accusing him, whatever.
I understand.
That's when I started clicking that maybe this is the same guy that I dealt with a couple of months ago.
Now, this Hoyt incident, had that happened at the time that you interacted with him in July?
No, like, I'm not too sure about the dates, but it was on my day off, I believe a week prior to this incident.
Was what?
Was Officer Hoyt's incident.
I'm just trying to kind of piece together. So you say your testimony today is that you never interacted with Mr. England in this moment, September 18th. You have no recollection of having dealt with him.
I had no recollection.
You see him with a phone. You kind of get the read that he's one of these auditor folks.
Yes.
But you have no subjective recollection of who he is. That's your testimony.
I deal with so many people I don't know.
Wow.
But I think I also understood your testimony to be that once the conversation unfurled and he mentioned Hoyt, you knew exactly who he was.
No, I did not know exactly who he was. I was still trying to figure out who this individual was.
The backpedal is strong with this one.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I've never heard such backpedaling in my life.
Yeah.
And so you had no recollection of an incident 2 months earlier. When you filled out your report for this incident, is your recollection of that interaction been refreshed?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Why was that?
Because it was talked about it. It was talked about the incidents, about Hoyt's incident with other officers.
Okay, so it was after he arrested you and after you had litigation on Hoyt that they finally, the Reno PD, apparently, according to Officer Sotelo, finally had a discussion about First Amendment auditors. Interesting.
I said that too. I said that after their Hoyt arrest, they've had some type of training.
And then I brought up my incident, so then it all started clicking that this individual was the same individual that dealt with Officer Hoyt.
So you did a fair amount of research before you actually wrote up your report?
Research, yes.
Or kind of refreshing your recollection of things?
Yes.
Okay.
The court the court of public opinion has determined that's a lie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, in research, so then I started getting all kinds of videos of from multiple people, family members, people from my parents from Southern California sending me videos that he posted.
Okay.
So that's when I also
Oh, my family sent me videos that he posted. Hi, family.
We sure did, because you have a tyrant of a family member. That's why.
Do us a favor, please. Like, share, and subscribe. And continue to watch. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to check out other channels in our descriptions below.
And this was all this was all in between when you detained him at 5:30 p.m. and when you wrote your report?
That was actually after that. I had a few days to write my report since it was a citation and have to.
Okay, so rather than writing down what was fresh in my mind the day that it happened, I decided to do research and make sure that my report had everything I could to make sure I can cover my rear end, because if I don't get this conviction against Sacramento Community Watch, I'm going to have a civil rights lawsuit on my hands. That's basically what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, so 2 days later, you're writing the report and it comes to mind.
Correct. So we have 7 days to do a citation. So yes, it was actually my.
And that's stupid. Why would they have 7 days to do a citation? That's so stupid.
And look what he's getting ready to say. It was actually my job was working overtime to. I'm flabbergasted. 7 days to write a report.
That's so stupid.
And then we have a DA's office apparently who constantly sides with the cops because they want to make sure the cops can get in front of the judge at a moment's notice when they're on duty. And if they drop cases like this, they're not going to show up and do their job.
Right.
Or like he's not doing his job in the first place. Big old case of the ADHDs.
They want to be able to make sure they have their story right.
Yeah, basically they want to
keep firing, assholes.
I was working overtime this day, so when I came back home on Monday, that's when I finished my citation.
And so family sent you videos and help us understand that.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't know about these videos until a lot of people started sending them to me after the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
until a lot of people started, I thought nobody knew me. He said on the video where he called me nosy, he said, nobody knows you, man. I thought nobody knew me.
On top of that, now, okay, so other people are redressing their grievances with their government, basically directly to Tyrant Tony here.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now it's a problem in court.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for public viewers. Thank you, family. Thank you.
I want to tell you here, Tyrant Tony, I want to let you know here, First Amendment auditors will gain access to every piece of data we can get our hands on. And now that you've arrested 2 of our watchmen, we're going to get every piece of audio, every piece of video that we can when you interact with us.
Absolutely.
And guess what? Your court audio is going to be that. And here we are. We're playing the court audio. That First Amendment, we have access to this information. We're disseminating it to the public. We're journalists. Hello.
One of those videos of the July interaction, Mr. Ringler? Okay. Do you recall any of the things you said to Mr. Ringler during that interaction?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to object as to relevance in our motions that we filed.
No, go ahead. We'll
Okay.
Go ahead.
What is your, after having...
Sit down.
We're kind of jumping around in time. I know that your memory now is solid and you kind of have all the details in front of you. As of today, can you tell us what your recollection is of that July incident?
So I was actually investigating domestic disturbance. I was driving down Virginia Street by the Arch. I noticed a male individual yelling at 2 females that were pushing a stroller. He was in their face yelling at them. At this point, I decided to make a U-turn and stop that individual and make sure.
Okay, so...
Oh, God.
So, again, he violated this man's constitutional rights because he was yelling at 2 females.
Yeah.
He detained them whenever, I mean, I can understand him detaining him possibly to avoid a domestic fight.
What are you doing, Sotelo? I mean...
He had no business arresting that man if all he was doing was yelling. Did he have his hands up like he was getting ready to... I don't have all that video or anything of that nature.
No contact at all whatsoever, but yeah, he stops this individual and places him in cuffs in front of a busy casino.
Places him in torture cuffs, and eventually from Sacramento's video, the man who was detained was later released, but kudos to that man for knowing his constitutional rights and Sacramento's constitutional rights.
Right. He said it right there. He said he can record all he wants. He's protecting my rights. Period.
That was occurring, and I witnessed Mr. England come to my scene and started recording, which I had no problem with him recording.
He noticed Mr. England come to his scene, a scene that he created. I mean, in front of a casino with his truck blocking the intersection. It's disgusting.
So, officers, or Tyrant Tony, I'm just going to let you know here. First rule of policing is observe. You got to observe. You got to watch what people are doing, and you got to understand that you don't do anything until you have reasonable, articulable suspicion that something is, has, or going to occur that is a crime. Just because somebody's yelling and exercising their First Amendment rights doesn't give you the right to detain them. It's the moment that they start raising their hand like they're going to punch somebody or doing something of that nature that you feel that somebody is going to be a threat or physical harm to somebody. That's when you interject yourself.
Right.
Not just because somebody's yelling. People can have heated arguments in public.
That time either, but I was more dealing with somebody else that I had detained at the time. And yeah, that was my interaction with him.
Did you have no problem with him recording?
I had no problem with him recording.
Do you recall calling him any names?
He was being nosy.
Yeah. Did you call him a nosy person a couple times?
Yes.
So, and again, folks, he started the name calling.
Yep.
Tyrant Tony started the name calling by calling Sacramento Community Watch nosy. Tyrant Tony has escalated this from the very beginning in the court of public opinion.
And who does he think that? Who does he think that he is? Who does he think that he is?
Super cop.
question. You're calling somebody nosy because they're recording you?
And then, like in the video, he says, "It's like, oh, go cry to your mom."
Yeah.
You know,
cry to your mom.
He is so unprofessional.
Yeah, his professionalism is by far the worst.
I do not want a law enforcement officer of this caliber on our streets.
Nope.
Put him into security.
I told him he should work for Target Security Loss Prevention. He should have applied the day I said it.
Yep. Instead, he's eventually going to get lawsuits against him. He's going to get fired. Eventually,
he's going to hurt somebody.
He's
going to
hurt
a lawsuit against him.
He's going to be a gypsy cop and go to California or Montana or Oregon or Washington because he's going to get kicked out. And this is the only profession that he knows because he's got all that gun experience.
The male subject that I had stopped, the female half that he was with, was asking him to stop recording.
Mm-hmm. And
no, she didn't. That's the lie detector determined that was a lie. She said, "Why are you recording?"
She asked why. You're right.
He was drunk, and he was also on his side. He was trying to tell me, "Hey, that's my sister," whoever he was with.
Mm-hmm. Did the male, and I don't want to go too far afield, did the male subject you had detained, did he respond, "He's fine, he's trying to protect my rights"?
Yeah.
So, you had that whole interaction, you got the guy outside the El Dorado, there's probably, I'm guessing lots of people were walking by, it was an evening?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, in the late summer, early fall. Folks are walking by, Mr. England's there recording you for that whole duration?
Yes.
You called him nosy a couple times, did he have any choice words for you?
I don't recall, I don't remember.
But that whole incident, 2 months later,
yeah, he referenced it.
Not at the time. Like I said, I didn't know who he was. I didn't run him. I didn't actually deal with him. I didn't know anything.
Oh my God. Okay, I need to put it to you folks. This is the sound of an addict. I'm sorry. This person is addicted to the ID cookie. I don't know who he is. I don't know who this guy is. I don't have any information. I don't have his past felonies. I don't have any recollection. I don't have anything that I know that's going to keep me safe, possibly, because I don't have the ID cookie. Oh my gosh, what are they teaching these people?
Okay, I'll move on. Take you at your word there. So, getting back to kind of what the Mr. England-less interaction would have been here. So, again, imagine Mr. England's not here. And at this point, we're a minute and a half into this interaction. He's just approaching the point where you tell him to stay back. So, help me understand this minute and a half from when you're checking the VIN on the front to where you're kind of just. It looks to me like you're just standing around chatting with Holly, waiting for Mr. England to arrive.
Waiting for a cover officer to arrive.
And that would have been your ordinary practice, investigating a felony.
Yes, GTA.
Sure. Sure, for all the reasons, all the concerns that you raised.
If there was somebody, if it was an occupied vehicle, we would actually do a felony car stop, which consists of multiple officers. It consists from 5 to 10 officers sometimes. We have a team of an arrest team, a lethal team, and a non-lethal team.
Okay.
So wait, you're telling me he couldn't have gone into the car anyways, according to policy, because he had to wait for his other officers to arrive? So how is that obstructing if he's waiting for his other officers to arrive because that's policy? He can't go into the car. Oh my God. I'm at a loss for words.
Despicable.
Like I said, I was on myself at this point. I still haven't cleared the vehicle.
Yeah. So if I heard your testimony, an arrest team, a lethal team, a non-lethal team, you're waiting for all these units to arrive.
Obviously not because it was unoccupied, but I was waiting for the officer, yes.
But you don't know it's unoccupied. You don't know there's not someone in the tinted back under a blanket.
Oh, I checked my flashlight and there was nobody in the back. My biggest concern was
Okay, so did he check the vehicle or not? Were there dead bodies? Apparently he said yes when he was shining his flashlight. Good job, Mr. Edgerton. You're just breaking him down left and right. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Absolutely. We help each other. We help with, like I said, tow forms. And even if I did have to release it and I have to go to my report, my partner will wait for a tow truck. If Miss Holly wasn't there,
sure.
And I would have my my partner wait for a tow truck.
Okay. And I guess what I'm getting at, Officer Sotelo, is help me understand. It's been a minute and a half. It goes on to a couple minutes. Your testimony earlier was that Mr. England's presence delayed your investigation. Help me understand what you would have been doing in his absence, because I'm hearing you say
searching the vehicle. So I would be waiting for somebody to come, and then once that was done, either we're doing paperwork, I'm searching the vehicle. Usually, if I find the vehicle.
He just said it. I'm doing paperwork. Why didn't he do paperwork for 5 minutes waiting for his backup to arrive if you were set?
Yep.
I tasked my partners to inventory the vehicle while I'm dealing with the other paperwork, administrative paperwork, looking at the report where it was stolen. Obviously, I already knew where it was stolen from, but that's the way we usually handle these calls.
Okay.
And usually people, if it's not busy, other officers will just dispatch themselves to me to cover me.
Sure.
So basically, if there's nothing else to do, there's a pig pile.
Standing around,
doing nothing, having a pig pile. SOP of RPD. You're hearing it here first, folks.
And within a couple minutes, officers were there, right?
5 minutes?
Yeah.
5 minutes, yes.
5 minutes from when he first called.
That'll make sense to me. And I guess what I'm getting at, again, not to beat a dead horse here, is it looks to me like from 2:30, 2:35 in the video, we hit play and you're kind of chatting with Holly. You turn your back to her at this point. Again, you didn't know Holly's full name at that time.
I did not.
You didn't know Holly. You didn't know who she was. You didn't know if she had any weapons. You didn't run her ID cookie.
He took her word that she was the owner of the vehicle, like he mentioned in the beginning of the video.
And now that we're talking about it, he never asked for either ID of either victim in the entire time that he was doing it, unless the other officer, which I think you said it was
Tyler Bear,
yeah. It was Officer Bear who took that. And we didn't have the body cam of Officer Bear.
Partner, you hadn't witness checked her.
No.
She's just Holly.
She's a victim at this point.
Yeah, putative, alleged, right? Okay. You turn your back to her, and again, I don't see you operating the door. You're waiting for Mr. England to arrive. It seems to me like you've chosen to detain him.
He didn't arrive.
You were hoping he didn't?
I just hoping he just heard where he was at, so I could continue my investigation and wait for my partner for my safety. I felt uncomfortable. Like the 2 nights prior, there was a
there we go.
Felt uncomfortable. Here it is. Feelings police and feelings court. I felt uncomfortable.
Still not the law.
Still not the law. Officer safety is more of judicial practice than law.
Sheriff deputy that got shot, ambushed.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I'll ask the questions. I understand the concern.
Tyrant Tony, people in your profession go in knowing every day that could happen anywhere in America. If you are that concerned about it, resign.
Popeye's chicken.
I'm sorry. If you're that concerned, but still, you go in knowing. You go in knowing, and if you can't handle it, then you need to resign.
And I don't mean to diminish your role or the safety concerns you have. We're focused on this incident, right? Not some Hollywood incident that happened somewhere else. You actually flushed Mr. England out of where he was recording, correct? You admonished him to get out of the street multiple times, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he's 30 feet away. He's across the street.
Yes.
He's recording you. You expressed a concern. You expressed it at the time of the video, and you did on direct examination, that you were concerned that he was going to get hit by a car.
Yes.
Now, I think we can agree he is protruding into the T2 travel lane. Do you think that he's especially likely to be struck by a vehicle if I zoom in here?
Yes.
You think that's very likely?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just whoops.
You can see his lines over the light, the white line.
And yeah. Okay. And so that's such a safety concern for you.
Puts over a white line.
And so when he backs up onto the curb, that's not sufficient. Or that would
Backs up on the curb, that's fine. You could have been there.
Okay. And so rather than just kind of leave things there, you kind of wait for him to make his transit all the way around the block to come to you. You do no investigating.
I didn't know he was going to come around until I met with the victim, and I saw it from the corner of my eye, and now he was walking towards.
Okay. But you didn't tell Holly he's going to do that. He's going to come over here.
I did tell him that once I saw him walking towards the light, he was going to come across.
Okay.
So yeah, he saw you walking towards the light. He knew you were coming across. He knew you were recording. He knew you. He knew that.
As Mr. England's approaching, so again, you kind of sit here, you wait, you detain your investigation as he approaches. He finally comes near, he gets to this light pole. I think I agree with you, he's maybe something like 30 feet away when you kind of initially hail him.
Yes.
36.
Would you describe yourself as kind of issuing two distinct audible commands with some kind of a pause, or was it more rapid fire?
I knew that light pole was kind of my line. I told him to come closer. That was my line.
What was that based on?
He said that light pole was kind of my line. Like that's my own personal limit of where I want the person to stand at. Stand there. That's my line.
My personal safety bubble is 30 feet. You got to keep 30 feet away from me. 30-foot bubble, my.
Who else did to dictate law?
There's no law behind that order.
Nope.
Distance?
I mean, why? Help me understand.
What do you mean?
Why that light pole? Why not?
Obviously, that was a noticeable structure, noticeable something that where I could tell him to stop there.
And so you've dealt with other auditors in the past, you know.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Put that back. Sorry. I meant to put pause, but I was going to mention something about him saying, Egerton, he cracks me up. Yeah, sure.
Who's going to come across?
Okay. As Mr. England's approaching, so again, you kind of sit here, you wait, you detain your investigation as he approaches. He finally comes near, he gets to this light pole. I think I agree with you, he's maybe something like 30 feet away when you kind of initially hail him.
Yes.
Would you describe yourself as kind of issuing two distinct audible commands with some kind of a pause, or was it more rapid fire?
I knew that light pole was kind of my line. I told him to come closer. That was my line.
What was that based on?
Distance?
I mean, why? Help me understand.
What do you mean?
Why that light pole? Why not?
Obviously, that was a noticeable structure, noticeable something that where I could tell him to stop there.
And so you've dealt with other auditors in the past, you know, colleagues have?
Yes.
Okay. And to that point, do you have any anecdotal evidence that an auditor has actually attacked someone during one of these audits?
Thank you. Thank you.
His question would be no.
And the answer to that is no, because the auditors do not want to commit crimes.
On their own camera.
On their own camera. It validates the whole point.
Come on, guys.
Jeez.
This is ridiculous, dude.
Okay.
No. Nothing snide or quippy to say there, Tyrant Tony?
Not throwing oranges, not throwing trash, toilet paper, peanuts, acorns, none of that. He's never seen that auditor do that, but yet he has to fear for his life when I'm standing behind him 16 feet. Going into an old ass car that was built in 1542.
The way fear works with the police is police should not fear auditors. Auditors fear police. Because the police, if they're uneducated about our rights and think that they can ID anybody and take them to jail because of contempt of cop, you know, the contempt of cop. Let me pull it up here. Interfering with the public, that's interfering, obstructing and resisting. That's Reno Municipal. Anyways, forget it. Let's go back to the audio here.
If you decide you want him to stop at that pole, what if he's taking a step forward?
You just just a step forward, and I mean, I would tell him way back there, that's my mark, that's where I say he stopped.
And in your mind, what is a lawful command issued by an officer?
To stop where I tell him to.
Oh man! Oh man!
No,
you can't make
a lawful order is to stop when I tell him to.
He said it. He said it. Horrible. Is that really what a lawful order is, guys? Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah.
Let us know what a lawful order is in the comment section, guys.
It's just, but you know what, Tyrant Tony?
Keep firing, assholes!
And what makes that command lawful?
Yeah, I'm going to object. He's not an expert. That draws a legal conclusion.
Oh, but yeah, he's the first one to throw around what's a lawful order, and you're going to object because your officer is a law enforcement officer and doesn't know what a lawful order is?
Horrible.
How can you be a law enforcement officer and not a legal expert?
Exactly. What type of show is this?
Oh,
it's ridiculous, dude. I mean,
see, an officer not knowing what a lawful order is. She's going to object because he's not an expert at the law. That is just
go back a little bit. Let Xander hear that.
Yeah, let me. Okay, hold on. 5712.
Had to roll up another one.
And in your mind, what is a lawful command issued by an officer?
To stop where I tell him to.
And what makes that command lawful?
Yeah, I'm going to object. He's not an expert. That draws a legal conclusion.
Well, give your best shot. So a lawful command would be from a law enforcement officer investigating some type of crime. I'm giving him a command to stop. Obviously, if I wasn't really doing much and he was just walking by, then that's all fine with me. But at this point, I'm actually investigating a crime.
Okay, so none of that answered the question.
Nope.
He doesn't have a crime scene. He doesn't have a crime scene. He doesn't have a lawful order is anything I tell him to do while I'm in the lawful.
Basically, a lawful order to him is anything. If I tell you to do something, you better do it. It's contempt of cop.
Anything he said.
Yeah, exactly. Because that law basically gives him contempt of cop powers. Tony, here's a little bit of education for you. A lawful order is any command a law enforcement officer gives that can be backed up by the full extent of the law. You happen to use the law that wound up being contempt of cop because it lets you get away with it. If you continue down this path, guess what? It's going to be stricken down as unconstitutional. So thank you so much for doing this.
That's the only thank you you'll get.
Okay. And so, you as you testified earlier, you're investigating a crime. You also had some sense of what he was about, whether you knew that this was Walter England, the guy you interacted with 6 weeks prior, or just like one of these auditor types. You knew who he was.
I did not.
Or you knew what he was about.
He's a civilian. I do not know if he has any weapons on him. I don't know.
Again, he's going for this is a person in withdrawal from the ID cookie. You know that he's complaining that he needs that ID cookie. He's afraid for his life because he doesn't know exactly who you are or whether or not you have weapons.
So you didn't
just like every traffic stop. I don't know who has a weapon or who's there to kill me, who's not.
And so I just want to clarify some of our earlier conversation. You did or did not think that this was one of those auditor guys?
I figured he was. He was recording. I listened to my commands. I thought he was trying to get me for me to walk across the street right there and then, which I wasn't. I obviously ignored him and I continued my investigation.
Okay. And so, again, and I don't want to, Ms. Schuman, the city's point is understood. I guess when I ask what a lawful command is, I'm thinking a command is anything an officer says that's mandatory or directive, right?
Correct.
And I'm asking you what makes that lawful. If you tell someone, shoot that man, If you see a civilian, you say shoot him.
I'm not gonna tell a civilian to shoot someone. That's number one.
Okay. Why not? Would that not be a lawful command?
That's not their job. That's my job.
What? That's what he's asking you, is if you tell a civilian to shoot somebody because an officer said it, that person has to do it because that's what you said. Yes. What a lawful command is.
That's not your job. That's my job.
It's his job to shoot somebody, apparently.
It's my job to shoot somebody. That's what it's his job to shoot somebody. That's what he just
wouldn't believe. You know what? I believe that's what he believes because look at his training. It's nothing but gun enforcement.
Right.
It's everything to do with guns, on how to use them and when to use them and everything about the gun and nothing about the law. That's what his job is to enforce the law. And if you don't know what a lawful order is, then apparently they're not teaching these people properly. And that's a professional opinion.
I'll say it again.
Okay.
Horrible.
What if you see someone walking by and you say, jump up and down 3 times?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Go ahead.
What about it?
I'm just trying to get to a scenario where we can have a conversation here, and I think you know what I'm getting at.
I do not. Actually.
Okay, so I'm happy about
it. No, of course he doesn't.
Because he just got done saying a lawful command is anything, a command that I give.
Any mandatory rather than precatory phrase that comes out of your mouth as a uniformed officer is a command, right?
Yes.
Thou shalt do.
Oh.
Tell me to do X.
Oh.
What makes that command lawful?
Well, I'm doing my lawful duties as a law enforcement officer.
Okay, so anything you tell someone to do while on duty in uniform is a lawful command?
Well, I'm doing lawful duties while I'm investigating a crime. Yes.
Anything that I tell you while I'm enforcing the lawful duties and while I'm dressed in a costume, that's not a lawful order.
This costume is a lawful order.
A lawful order is anything you know that can be backed up by the rule of law.
By a law.
By a law. Something that is written on the books.
Right. It's so sad he doesn't know that. It's so sad he doesn't know that.
I feel sorry for him. Improper training. He needs better training, and apparently RPD is not doing it right.
So I can't just drive down the street and hey, jump up 3 times. I cannot do that. I'm actually investigating a crime that's being committed, or has been committed, and I gave him a lawful order to stop.
Okay. Now, just not to bust your chops too much here, but at 3.
No, please bust his chops. Please.
He's already done that. He's already done that.
20 of the video, you're not investigating anything.
I am investigating. That whole time that I'm there, I'm investigating the crime.
Well, it looks to me like you're waiting for Mr. England to arrive on the scene to see if he's going to bait you into a situation.
That is not true. I'm investigating the crime.
I believe Mr. Edgerton was correct.
Whoa!
Oh, that's gonna hurt! Can you see how fast he backpedaled there? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm waiting now to stop my investigation, focus my attention to him. Like I said, I don't know.
Again, sounds more like ADHD. I can't do my job because Mr. England's recording me. That's what it sounds like.
Yes. And even if I saw him in the street right now, I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know if he has a gun or I don't know if he's out there to kill me.
In this still shot we have right here, what are you investigating? What information are you gathering?
A felony crime. I'm waiting for my government to come.
Okay, so you're waiting to gather information, correct? Okay. And so I think as far as we've gotten, I'll move on from this, as far as we've gotten, in your mind, a lawful order is any order you issue while on duty in any way connected with your law enforcement duties.
Correct.
Without regard for its resonance with other statutes.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to object.
Hey, that right there, that right there, got him.
That's why she's objecting. She knew she lost.
She knew it. She was like, "Oh, I'm done. Cut it off. Yeah, that right there killed it off. Yep.
But anyways, Miss Newman, let's
Keep firing, assholes.
Thank you,
Your testimony
Edgerton.
earlier was that you believe that Mr. England might have had his hand in his pocket.
Correct.
Can you see this video?
I didn't say in his pocket, I said near his pocket.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe Mr. England's posture and activity here?
Standing straight forward, looking at me.
Does he appear to have anything in his pocket? Do you see a bulge?
I can't tell if he has anything in there.
Mm-hmm. Do you see a bulge on the right side of his pants?
I can't tell. I mean, he could have something concealed in his pocket. I don't know. In his waistband. I don't know.
I'm scared. He might have a weapon. If you're so scared of the general public that everybody around you has a weapon, officer, you need to retire.
Okay.
And I had an effing camera. What am I going to do? Pull out a MAC-10 AK-47 or something? And I mean, he just horrible. Period. Horrible. Go ahead, Xander.
Standard police training for the standing army our forefathers warned us about is us versus them mentality. It's like they're trained to be on the front lines of an armed incursion. So everybody's got a gun, everybody's an enemy, and
everybody's a potential criminal.
Everybody has acorns.
Although you're innocent until proven guilty.
Where? Not in
At least that's what it's supposed to be.
What did you tell Mr. England as you were debating or discussing this decision you made to detain him? Did you explain to him that he'd had opportunities to avoid this?
He had many opportunities to go back to leave, but he did not.
So, yeah, to leave, that's what I thought I heard you say about 4 minutes in the video. What did you mean by opportunities to leave?
To leave my immediate area, that's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I even explained to him, I don't have to explain to anybody what I'm doing in my investigation. I explained to him, hey, I'm investigating a felony crime, stolen car. I don't have to tell.
Mr. Sotelo, it's called crime scene tape. If you don't want somebody in the crime scene area, use crime scene tape. Brought to you by your employer.
For free. That we paid for.
No, but instead you were slackjawing with the victim.
And for the safety and for the privacy of the victims, I don't have to worry about the rape. I'm not going to tell this gentleman over here walking out that, hey, I'm investigating a rape.
Okay, so folks, this kind of happened to us while we were out auditing at one point, and we went in to go make a complaint, and we were about ready to go live. We were attempting to go live because we were filing a complaint against Officer Sotelo, and a person walked in and started to report a rape case, an R case. And we decided then and there, cut it out, stop, we're done, get out. This is more important than what we're discussing. And we left. And we made sure that video was, any video that we had was deleted or not published. So, you know, that's how that works, folks. So, you know, we do respect the privacy of victims. And we attempt, if we do this, to respect their privacy. However, if you make the victim a witness, public information.
But I did give him some piece of mind so he knew what I was doing, what kind of crime I was dealing with.
I understand. And that's actually a really good place to maybe leave things off. I think I hear you saying that when you are in uniform discharging your duties, any order you issue is a lawful command and you need not explain it or converse with someone about why they need to comply if they think that there's some competing legal authority. That's just, Officer Sotelo said it, it's a lawful command in a story. Is that where we are?
Your that's a compound question. Can you break it down?
Sure.
Or you can just say before.
Yeah, I think I made my point. I'll leave Officer Sotelo alone for now. Thank you. Nothing further to say.
Any redirect?
Just a little bit, Your Honor.
And here's where she tries to save the case. miserably.
Okay, so let's go to the July of 2023 incident. So was it dark outside? That was nighttime?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you did
Which is a worse time for officer safety. This was done in complete daylight, what they arrested him for.
direct Mr. England to stay back, but he could film?
At that point, I didn't even, I think he was at a safe distance where he was able to film. I didn't even tell him to get back.
Okay, so he didn't obstruct your investigation?
No.
And he wasn't arrested?
No.
Did he say to you, you're a punk ass officer and shouldn't be an officer anymore, get a different job?
Yes, he did.
Was he shouting that at you
Yes,
from
he
the
was.
sidewalk as you were leaving the scene?
Yes.
First
Again,
Amendment.
First Amendment protected activity. First Amendment protected activity. Redressing the government of the grievances.
So I don't even know why Schumann is even bringing that up. Like, does she not know the First Amendment?
She doesn't, apparently.
Get it together.
Again,
She doesn't sound like a very good defense. Get it together.
She was a family children's services defense lawyer before she took this job. Again, and she's prosecuting these crimes. She's doing this more for the paycheck because she can't get clients for her own attorney. Apparently, I'm assuming. I don't know if she is or not. So
she needs to get it together.
I don't want to defame either. So, but facts ain't defamation, folks.
Okay. Now, why did you say he was being nosy?
Because he was recording our interaction.
NRS 171.1233, officer.
How many times we gotta say it?
Stop recording him. Stop recording him.
Did she ask you why he was recording her husband?
I did not.
The lie detector determined that was a lie because she said, "Why are you recording?"
Okay, and did you respond, he's being nosy?
Yeah, I think I told her he was being nosy.
And again, called him a rude punk officer because he started the name calling with calling him nosy. If he didn't call him nosy, kept his mouth shut, he would not have brought any of this down upon himself.
Okay, so back to Holly. Do you think if Holly had stolen this vehicle, she would have called and reported it herself?
Probably not.
Okay, so you didn't believe she posed any threat to you? Okay, because she was...
Well, who called it in? Was it Holly or was it the other guy?
The gingerbread man.
So, again, he's an auditor. He has a camera. He's not a threat to you. He's not going to record a violent crime against an officer. It's
Was the victim?
She was a victim.
Okay. Okay, defense said the shooting that you referenced in LA was a Hollywood incident. Wasn't there just...
Objection. No connection. It's in. What does that even have to do with what?
Again, people doing their jobs. It's an unfortunate accident that officers out in Hollywood or wherever he's LA or wherever he's referencing got hurt in the line of their duty, but it's a risk that they know that they have to take.
Same thing with animal control officers. They know they're going to come across some vicious dogs.
Construction workers go out there and pave roads every day and risk people speeding and barreling down the road. It's a job hazard. If you are that afraid of your job hazards, you need to find another profession. However, I do not wish any harm to come to Officer Sotelo in the first place.
Get out.
But if you're that scared about every person that walks down the street or recording you is going to have a firearm or a weapon, then maybe do a Terry frisk if it's really that important to you. But you know what? Maybe you should just retire.
Yeah, how dangerous is that to have a cop that thinks like that? How dangerous is that? The whole entire community is, they're
He's an acorn cop. He's an acorn cop. He'd be the first one to draw his weapon and go shots fired on an acorn dropping on his patrol vehicle, like we found in the auditing community.
Or a marshmallow.
Objection. Your Honor, he opened the door. Why was it relevant when you asked it on cross?
It wasn't a question I asked. It was batting back his testimony.
Okay, tell us about that.
So there was an officer that was ambushed a few days ago. He was doing what do you call a traffic stop, a routine traffic stop, which every cop knows it's not a routine traffic stop. As he was walking to the window, he got shot in the arm.
And you know what? It happened here in Sparks. One of the Sacramento Community Watch's videos covered this exact same thing about all these police officers gathered around looking like nothing was going on, but in actuality, they were trying to on a manhunt for somebody who shot at an officer on a traffic stop. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it is par and course for the duty. And if
part of the job, buddy.
Part of the job. It can and will happen. We don't wish it to happen on you, but
of course not.
If you're that afraid of it, step down and find another profession. Yeah, the money. Which is better, the money or the risk?
Right. Bye. Popeyes.
I was actually one of the first community officers that responded to that incident, and still not knowing the subject to see if he gave up or not. He shot two of my other officers.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. Okay, now, and again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you've got this guy that you don't know approaching you on the sidewalk, right?
You know him.
Approaching you and Holly. And it looks like he's actually closer to Holly than he was to you even.
Yeah, see, that's the whole point. If he was afraid for the victim and he's supposed to be an officer to serve and protect, wouldn't he put himself between you and Holly?
Absolutely.
It's not officer safety, it's officer cowardness at this point.
Are you concerned about your safety, her safety?
Yes.
You don't know his criminal history, what his intentions are?
Correct.
You don't know if he has a weapon?
I need cookie.
I mean, obviously, if someone has...
Objection, Your Honor. She's obviously coaching the witness. Clearly,
leading the witness.
Just leading. I mean, geez.
A weapon, they don't approach you with the weapon out, right? They usually like draw it and pull it out when they get close to you? Okay. Okay, now going back to the light pole, I just want to go to the body cam here. I'm going to take you to 3:18, 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Let me just make sure this is going to work.
Okay, she needs to finish up. We're done with this live stream tonight.
I know, right?
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
This is over half the video, and it's gone on an hour and a half longer than I wanted to.
Okay. So obviously, you're investigating this entire vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Which means you have to go around it,
And he did.
behind it,
Which he did.
over to the side. Is that
Which he
accurate?
did.
Hey, we can go ahead and stop it at 2:35, and then we can finish up on next Tuesday if you want.
I'm willing to get. I want to get through Sotelo.
Okay.
I mean,
Going all the way around this vehicle, trying to
we're almost done.
see what's inside of it, what's in the trunk.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say you want him to go back to the light pole, the light pole, were you taking that into consideration? You're going to have to go all the way around this vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, can you talk about that more?
So I believe that's a safe distance for him to be, and you could record me, like I said. But I do have to walk around the vehicle, turn my back towards him, eventually check the trunk once Timothy came back with the keys.
So you didn't even have the keys.
I'm going to have to get into the vehicle and make sure there's no anything of evidential value. There's been cases where people
And why couldn't you wait for your...
actually drop their wallets inside. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for anything of evidential value at this point.
Okay, and the light pole that you asked him to stay back at, that's
Couldn't
about
wait
it.
for his
Carlin
backup.
Lee?
Yes, it's probably like right behind this white Chrysler.
Okay.
Here's a question, Officer Sotelo. What would you have done if 3 auditors shown up at this exact same thing? Couldn't arrest all 3 of us at once.
You're right.
Let's see here. Okay, what training did you receive at Post about how close someone can get to you and you have time
Here
to
we
draw
go.
your weapon if need be?
So, what they teach us is 21-foot rule. 21-foot rule means it takes about 1.5 seconds for a suspect with a sharp object to come in and actually stab you. It also takes about 1.5 seconds for me to retrieve my gun and shoot every rounds center mass and
Gun nut.
stopping the subject.
Okay, so rule of thumb is...
So it's about the same time, the same distance for me to draw my weapon, return accurate fire, this at 1.5 seconds, and it takes about 1.5 seconds for the average person to, from 21 feet, to reach me and stab me.
Okay, and that's, do you know approximately how many steps that would be? I guess it depends on the person.
Yes,
So
it depends on the person, but
I'll
it's-
move on. Okay, that's all I have here.
Sounds like they're sticking to this whole officer safety thing. Like, oh, how long before somebody can
Right,
get to you?
again-
I didn't have a fucking gun.
He didn't have a knife either, something sharp that could stab him either. Again, this is all about officer safety, which is not a law. Officer safety is not a law. It is case law that they defer to, that basically they give a higher reasonable, they give officer safety a higher level of concern with inside the court. That's about all it is, but there is no law against officer safety or 21 feet.
Mr. Sotelo, what is your 40-yard dash time? I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's gonna hurt! 40-yard dash. He probably hasn't done 40-yard dash since he was in high school.
Mine's about a second or two slower than it used to be.
He ain't did it in 90 years.
The post. This is actually a very helpful thing. This post training that you talked about. Do you happen to recall when was this during your initial post training that you learned the 21-foot rule of
It was
thumb?
actually during taser training, not only ghost training, during.
Oh, okay. Again, gun nut. This was learned during taser training. This guy is just a gun nut.
Taser training, accurate taser. It's not going to be accurate at 21 feet. So you got to keep in mind the distance with distance how far the subject's going to be.
Okay. And so with your service revolver or your weapon, it's more accurate obviously than a taser at that distance.
Correct.
Yeah. That makes sense. So you kind of have this drilled into you through post training, 21 feet, right? That sounds like you know it really well.
Yes.
And that's basically, in your mind, safe distance in terms of being able to respond to a sudden attack.
Every situation is different.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what the courts have said. Every situation's different. Totality of the circumstances.
I won't feel comfortable. It just depends. I can't tell you.
Feelings, please.
That's pretty much my safe distance. 20.
Pretty much my safe distance. That's not the law. That's not the law.
Again, no. Yeah.
That's now I know. I kind of know. I don't have a measuring tape where I can measure 21 feet, but I'm just estimating where I think it's going to be a safe distance for me.
Okay. But you asked Mr. England to stay back about 50% farther than that.
Correct.
About 30 feet.
Yes.
Okay. And you characterize that, or maybe the city asked you to characterize that as about one car length.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just going to wait here for the video screen to clear. So I can't quite, there's a little bit of a perspective issue here, but it looks like 30 feet would be longer than, like a standard car, maybe 15 feet. It looks like that light pole's a bit farther back. But regardless, no question there, just rambling.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Let's jump back to that July incident. And again, we take you at your word that in September you had complete memory hole of who Mr. England was or what he was about, no recollection of this particular individual, how he dresses. No recollection there. Going back to July 2023, you now know that individual recorded you, Mr. England recorded you.
Yes.
Correct, from a safe distance.
Yes.
Okay. At that time, did you know who he was?
I did not.
Okay. And this was at night?
Yes.
Were there more people around or fewer than in this incident?
There was more people around.
Okay. It was night as opposed to kind of late afternoon here?
Correct.
So why wasn't he felt unsafe then?
Of a violent crime. You had detained for a potentially violent crime.
Correct.
Okay, as opposed to an unoccupied GTA.
Correct.
Okay. And so under those facts and circumstances, did you feel more at ease with the individual who turned out to be Mr. England in July of 2023 than you did here in September?
Here comes the back pedal.
Same time, I actually requested another unit, and I was waiting for my cover officer. While I was running the defendant, I had my back towards the building, running him and keeping my eyes open, waiting for my cover.
Did you continue your investigation in July of 2023 while you were waiting for that cover unit to arrive?
Yes. No. So I actually just met with the male subject while I was running him. I waited for my cover unit to arrive, and then once my cover unit arrived, then I went across the street and talked to the female to see if there was anything domestic violence or a crime accident.
During that whole time, did the male subject and you exchange any information pertinent to the investigation?
Did I what?
Did you and the male subject exchange any information pertinent to that investigation? Were you just talking about football scores, or were you talking about the incident?
We were talking about the incident.
Okay, so it sounds like your investigation was continuing.
It was continuing, yes.
Okay, so you did not delay your investigation in July when Mr. England was videoing you.
So
you didn't know who he
I'm sure there was a pause while I was waiting for the return.
And at that time, you didn't know him from Adam. You didn't know who this individual was.
Yeah, did not know.
You had no way of knowing who this was.
Never
Okay. 2 months later, you might know somewhere deep in your memory who he is, but you couldn't quite recall it then.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. He basically just said that he admitted that he might have known you. He just admitted it.
I'm very sorry to hear about the incident you responded to in Sparks. Was the suspect there a First Amendment auditor? Was that individual carrying a camera?
Oh!
He had ambushed officers.
See?
In your subsequent investigation, you have no idea?
No.
Okay. Based on your training and experience, do you think it is consistent with someone who's going to attack you that they would have a weapon in one hand or pocket and a camera in the other?
It could vary.
Okay, based on your training.
Oh, man.
That's gotta hurt.
It's gotta hurt.
Way to
Wow.
go, Mr. Edgerton. That's the right question to ask. I'm glad you asked that.
Jake,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Back to my training experience, I've been in combat. I dealt with civilians in the past. I had a female walk up to my checkpoint and blow herself up. I don't know. I don't know what.
So he was in combat. A woman walked up and showed her. What? What's that have to do with anything?
And another, I don't mean to beat a dead horse.
Oh.
I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but when I worked TSA, I wasn't never scared of a bomb going off, but I still pat down people, Millions of people at the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson International Airport. Did my job.
What their intentions are. That's what we have to see alert.
And you have no idea what the intentions of the person
Right.
are.
Correct. I do not know.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Nothing on that, Your Honor.
Question, from the point where you first saw him across the street, where he was in the lane of travel, to where he eventually ended, where you detained him, how many yards is that? This optically, this is a little.
So I would say about.
See, again, the judge even commented on the optics. The lady doesn't know. The prosecuting attorney doesn't know anything about camera optics, apparently. So apparently she needs to get some education on camera optics, especially if she's going to be testifying about body-worn cameras.
Right.
From where he was at, maybe 40 yards, and then another 25 yards to come across, and then another 40 yards to come.
So he went up 40 yards, came up 20 yards.
Yeah.
He came across 20 and then back down to you, which was another 20?
20, 30 yards, probably more, 40 yards, I would say.
All right. It's interesting you brought up the post-training state of mind. So you see him be standing there. He's not in this video, but he's standing there. He's got the recorder in the left hand, and he's got his right hand down by his side.
See, and with this judge, he's all about the hand down by your side. So as we continue, folks, just remember that it's always about the hand down by his side, like he may have a weapon in there. The whole officer safety. If he would have had both hands up recording, totally different set of circumstances, apparently, to this judge.
If he had a weapon in his back pocket, how quick could he get that out and lobbing a shot your way? That you've been training.
1 more 5 seconds.
Boom. Okay. Good. Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
None here, Your Honor. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I'll stick around.
Your Honor, if we could call Holly Anderson.
Okay, and at that point, we're going to call it a night, folks. So just to wrap up here, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe these videos at Sacramento Community Watch, Reno News Now, the ADHD Auditor, and Xander the Educator has also linked in his stream as well. So please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe all of us. We do thank you for joining us. And
thank you guys so much. We love y'all. Thank you so much.
We're going to work on those super stickers here and make sure that we get everything with the monetization going here as just as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
The other thing is we ask you to come back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as we continue on with the victim's testimony, and then we'll probably do a third stream where I'm testifying as well. This one kind of dragged on a little bit long, but we wanted to get through Officer Tony the Tyrant through his testimony and make sure we got that taken care of. Anything else anybody want to bring up while we're here?
No, we appreciate you guys for coming out and watching. Thank you
no,
so much.
You're right, Texas. Thank you, right.
Yep, and just remember, if you do complain to redress your grievances with your government, please do so responsibly. Please do not use threats or force or violence. We do not condone that. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful night, folks.
Peace.